Hello.
Hey.
What's going on, everybody?
Yo.
Welcome to
27?
Yes, episode 27, featuring Steve Vargas.
Hey, man.
Hey guys, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Fuck yeah.
I'll be saying that many times throughout. Thank you.
So, Steve, drummer of, I'm just gonna go here. Greber,
Yep.
Biipiigwan,
Yep. Oh, you said it right.
the Great Sabatini.
That's right.
What else?
Those are pretty much it. BP,
And-
Sabs, and the podcast. I run the podcast, Take Her Wide, and
Oh yeah, Take Her Wide.
Take Her fucking Wide. Yeah. And that's those are the things I do.
Dope.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pick your brain a little bit here today. You ready?
Let's do it. I was saying it that it's crazy nervous to be on this end of it.
Yeah.
It's fucked. I should not be this nervous. You guys
weird,
all seem like
yeah.
nice guys.
Don't worry, you'll get a lot more nervous when the furnace kicks on and it gets 100 degrees in here.
Oh, actually, before we start, I brought gifts for you guys.
Oh,
What?
Damn.
Thanks, dude.
So
What could they be?
Hey!
that one here is brewed biscuit. So my podcast, I have sponsors.
You guys want to eat some?
Okay.
Yeah,
You
what
can
about
eat
some?
them. You
Really?
can. Yeah, they're totally
Should we try those?
totally edible.
Have you tried one?
I have. Yeah,
How good is it?
it's okay.
I ate a bunch of milk bones as a child,
Oh no.
and I
I can tell.
Hey, you look very
and they
healthy
were
and
actually
strong.
fine.
Yeah, that's a sponsor of mine on the podcast.
Cool.
Brewed biscuits. Shout outs to them.
Cool.
And I brought some hot sauce for you guys
Fuck
too.
yeah.
What?
Heartbeat hot sauce.
Wow.
I
love
only brought
that.
2, so I don't know who wants.
May I,
Ooh,
may I take a
Christian.
little peek
What?
at these? Sorry, Christian, you can't have these. These are mine.
No.
You
We'll
get the
pitch on like a
vouchers.
bunch of fucking
100%.
wings, and we'll just mow down out
They're
here.
it's fucking good.
Cool.
And then some stickers and some swag.
Fuck
What?
yeah.
Yeah, just
Thanks.
as a way to say thanks, man.
Wow.
Dude,
No
that's
one
very
has to give
sweet.
a shit about anything I do, so it's cool when
we gotta
people
step our game
kind of
up.
do.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Wow, there's a lot of cool
Yeah,
stuff.
thank
Thanks
you.
so much,
Yeah,
That's
some
man.
awesome.
swag and then some beers too. If
Wow.
yeah.
Shout out.
Is
to
that their new
Wellington.
beer?
Uh,
Is that the
Saison?
yeah?
Does somebody want one of those?
I
would-
might take you up
Yeah,
on that
for
after I
sure.
finish my
Yeah,
SPA.
so- Yeah,
Cool.
thank you guys.
Please welcome our new host, Steve Vargas.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
No,
shout
dude,
outs
that's
to all the swag and all the sponsors.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You have like all these like cool connections, and you have so many people supporting your show and everything.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. Like
You were just talking
People
about having
believe in
to
it.
step up your game, and now I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I just got these pins from Ironclad Graphics and patches too. I got some.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys are patch people,
Hell
but
yeah.
Kife Life patches.
Wow, yo, I'll just sew this on during the
You don't know how
episode.
to
There you
sew.
go.
Yeah. Oh, this is awesome.
But
Cool,
yeah,
man.
it's like I don't know. It's cool that people care enough to put ads on the show and
Yeah, fuck
help
yeah,
me
that's
out and
super
stuff.
dope.
And yeah, it's like I feel like it's such a band type community thing. We're all trying to help
Right.
each other out. Like, and these people are helping me out. You know,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
good community, good support.
Hell yeah. It's strange when people care about like something that is like a passion project to you.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Wow, people actually care.
You're right.
Yeah, well, even I'm sure when people listen, it's like, wow, because there's so many things to see and check out and do. For anyone to take some time to check your stuff out is really like, wow, hey, thanks.
Yeah,
Wow,
man.
you could have been doing a billion other things.
Yeah, it's a cool little niche we're like carving out too, right? So like we'll pop out to like some local shows and people come up to us.
They come up to you.
Mostly
they
me,
don't come up to
I guess. And they're
Nobody
like,
comes up
"Yo,
to me."
like a fucking Ape Audio, your show's super dope." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What? Like I don't
Yeah.
even know who you are."
Yeah, it's like when people you see someone wearing your band shirt out in the wild.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
actually,
That's a
you know,
very-
are wearing it because you sometimes think people will buy it to be nice.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That actually. Yeah,
What
that's so
happened to
true.
Ian recently? I think where you saw some dude out in TO like rocking one of your
Yeah,
shirts.
I went to go see The Contortionist.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Intervals live.
Cool.
And some guy was wearing like our band shirt, and it was just kind of weird because we had opened up for Intervals at Maxwell's like the month before.
Okay.
So, and that was our first time selling those shirts. So that those shirts weren't even out for a while, and then just seeing some guy there was like,
It's cool.
oh, and I don't even know who the hell you are.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird experience, but at the same time, like, I guess it's kind of like humbling is the word.
Yeah, for sure.
In a way, like to kind of be like, oh, like I am just like one of those people and they are just like me, and like, you know, you think that when you're on the other side, like you're saying like, oh, it's weird being on the other side,
Uh-huh.
And when you're on the other side of like the artist like giving out the art, you'd think it's, I don't know, it's humbling in a way that just kind of mediates like the connection between you and like the listener.
It is a, I don't know, it's like I think I can speak for myself, like starting music and playing music, it was a way to like feel good and do something cool, because when you're young, like who's actually confident in who they are and what they're doing? Not that few people.
Even when you're old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally. So like people who are musicians, maybe at least myself, it's like I'm not a crazy confident, like my shit is great. I always think my shit's terrible. So when you see someone like actually supporting, it's so like, oh my God, wow. It's so kind of jarring for me, because like, you know, I have such little faith in what I'm doing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then maybe like, I don't, like you guys could speak to that too. Like,
Yeah, there's definitely those moments where, you know, when you've been creating for a while, like the first time we were starting this podcast and, you know, recording it and hearing back on your voice and like the things that you say and the weird like speech habits that you have, and you're just like, oh geez, like people have to listen to me
can't
talk
believe I have
every day of my
friends.
yeah.
How'd I
People have
make
to
it
listen
this
to me
far?
talk.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Jesus
fuck.
Christ.
that's crazy.
And then yeah, it's just that kind of thing where, you know, you just kind of think that, oh, what I'm doing isn't that great, because you're overthinking all like the things that you think you're doing wrong, but really it's like,
It's super vulnerable when you're putting stuff out there. It's like, here's what I think's cool. What do you think? Because if you put it out there, you're kind of asking for feedback.
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
So it's
and
just-
we're asking for the worst kind too by doing it live. We're just like, give us the feedback like right while we're doing this shit.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of nice, like between listening to Take Her Wide and the Walk Show as well. It's like, okay, like these guys are doing something similar. Like there's a confidence in that, where if like maybe we're just like the one duck floating in the pond, we might feel like a little bit like more apprehensive about it, I guess.
yeah.
Totally. It's like a team effort, you know?
Yeah.
And it's cool. I think it's like I'm proud of myself too. When I was younger, at least with bands, there was a mentality of only so many pieces of the pie, and like it's a competition, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe even like resenting success that you see some bands
Sure.
having. Whereas now, like I'm happy to come here and to be part of it, and that small piece of the pie that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to have that feeling of community in this now with the podcast. You know?
Right,
Like
right.
the music
Yeah.
thing, it's great, but I don't know. Nobody wants to feel alone. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
Maybe some
especially-
people do, but not me, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine doing this by myself.
Yeah.
You guys should branch out and each do your own and see what happens.
Oh my! I
That
think it'd be a
would be
nightmare.
What would you guys do?
Yeah, what would your podcast be about?
I would do it about things that I have no idea about. Like, I'm not really like a sports guy, so I'd be like some guy who like doesn't know about sports but like talks to people who know about it. And I would just like ask about. I would be like that idiot that would just be like, okay, yeah, I saw that thing on like House
Saw
of
you really
Highlights
buckled
Instagram
down
page.
and
Yeah.
played the game.
Oh my
Or maybe
God.
like movies that I don't know about, or like shows, and just have people who are like huge. You know what I mean? It's like someone who doesn't know something about something, or doesn't know anything about something, and then always having a guest who's like, you know, maybe like super into that.
You
sure.
thought about this already?
No, I just thought of it on the spot.
Yeah. That
It's
sounds
this
terrifying.
Wellington Upside IPA that really brings the creativity.
That's a great beer.
Yeah,
It is.
fuck
It's my
yeah.
first time trying it.
What would you? I guess so. I gotta remember. It's Chris and Ian. No, I got it wrong.
I
Christian,
prefer Christian.
Ian,
Christian,
Patrick,
Ian Patrick.
and then we got Adam
Adam.
on the
Adam.
deck.
We got new computer guy every week.
Yeah.
A new guy gets fired every week. We didn't get enough downloads. You're fired.
So, do you want to talk about music a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about fucking.
Can I ask you about See Through?
Oh my God, yeah. Wow. Holy shit.
See through with the C.
With the C. Wow, man.
I want to hear about See Through,
THRU.
and I want to hear
That's
about
crazy.
Jesus Dad
Jesus Dad.
kicking down the door to band practice.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
Drop it on us.
Oh my God, that's the first band I started in 10th grade, I think. And See Through, I don't know why we thought it was a cool name.
Do
It's
you want to tell the people how you spelt it?
Oh, for sure. The coolest way to do it in the 90s with the letters C and then THRU. And it was crazy. Just yesterday, I saw a license plate for, it was something through, D through or something. And I was like, oh my God, my old band name. But yeah, See Through was my band in high school. And we used to jam in the guitar player's garage. And they locked it. we just locked it because we were jamming, and the guy's dad went ballistic because he couldn't get into his garage, and probably because we were terrible making noise. And he kicked the door open, and it was awkward because like they were a religious family, but to see that side of a guy who you see at church singing acoustically, it was terrifying. Like, Jesus Christ. Literally, like
total polar opposites.
Yeah.
I feel like
super
that's kind of
scared.
common though for like the really like religious types. Like I had this like Baptist family that lived next door to me, and they're always like, "Have you accepted Jesus Christ into your heart?" And I'm like, I'm good. I don't know.
Your neighbors would actually ask you that?
Yeah. And they were like, "Well, we can like show you the way or whatever."
Show
But
me
like
the
they
way.
would would be like the most ballistically mad individuals when like the slightest thing would happen.
It's scary, yeah. People who are like super like positive all the
Yeah.
time. It's like,
Yeah.
man, what demons are you hiding?
Right.
What are you
Exactly.
bottling
Something's
up?
gonna snap.
Nobody's
Yeah,
like
sure.
that, man.
For sure.
But yeah, see, that was See-Through, fucking the first band. I wish we did a demo. I remember I did a song. I wrote the lyrics, and it was about this jock guy named Dino, which I'm sure he will never see this. But yeah, it was a song about like how he's living life because he was a popular kid, and it's like in my head when I wrote it, it was like your life is so easy, you know. But like,
Fuck you,
know,
Dino.
like, his like mom died when he was like a teenager. Like,
Shit.
you know, you learn these things later, and it's like he was just.
Oh, I thought
popular
you, like, used
kid.
that in the lyrics.
No,
Like,
no.
spoiler or something. I was like,
mom
"Jeez,
died,
man."
No, it was a song about the popular kid and how like you think it's so easy, man, but life's hard. Yeah, I wish I had it. I still wish I had it.
any lyrics, any specific
I
things?
do.
Like, even one line.
The one line I remember is like, "You live life. Who do you look out for?" Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's premium.
But I do wish
profound.
I do wish I had the demo just to have, man, just to like.
Yeah,
I have a
I was
photo.
trying to like scour everywhere and see if I could find anything. And I was like, do they have a fucking website? But no,
No.
apparently like some audio company owns like seethrough.com or something.
Yeah, this was like, 98.
Yeah,
probably,
that's
or
true. I
whatever.
guess it's way back
So like
there.
GeoCities was just
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out.
Well, I was like, I was scouring like fucking like the Wayback Machine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, even for like Tugnut stuff.
yeah. There's some
too.
stuff. Yeah, there's tons
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah. I found like a couple things. The site is like no longer like really intact on like Wayback Machine. Like you can see like the layout and everything, but I think like all the media and stuff is kind of like stripped away.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy that site's still there. I'm still friends with my buddy Rigo, who designed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it is cool. I think he showed me like the Wayback Machine to pull it up.
Oh, cool,
That's
cool.
cool.
Is he
Yeah.
proud of his design?
It was good. Even to now, it still holds up. Like I'm kind of impressed.
Probably up to some more MySpace profiles. I said that.
Yeah, it's fucking wasted, man. The
Wellies, man. Wellies. I got my.
Cool. So that was like your first band in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
Where
high school.
did all things like start heading to after that?
Oh, it's funny. After that, there was another band called Derail with a D, See-Through and Derail.
Through derail.
The next
Yeah.
one start with an E.
Email.
No, I'm kidding. I should have. No. That was high school, and then that's like in high school when I realized like, fuck, this is what I want to do, right? And growing up in this small town called Emo, which is like
1,000 people.
yeah, tiny.
Where is it?
Say the town's called Emo.
Emo, yeah, it's 4 hours west of Thunder Bay, a couple hours south of Kenora, middle of nowhere. 4 hours to Thunder Bay, 4 hours to Winnipeg. So, yeah, that was the high school band, and then it was like, I need to do something with this. That band broke up. I remember I quit See-Through because it was, I don't even remember why, but it was like breaking up with a girlfriend.
Well, you were ready to move
yeah.
to the next letter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was graduating.
Sorry, guys. We're going to derail.
Yeah. I'm not feeling the C's anymore. That band broke up, and then I just did like high school shit. And then after that was like, okay, I want to do this, and if I want to do it, I have to move. And looking back, it's kind of like I have a kid now, and if my kid was like, hey, I'm moving 20 hours away from home to go pursue music, like I'm amazed my parents were so rad with it. That,
Oh, they were like really supportive.
my dad helped us buy the trailer to get us
Wow.
out there, and
Damn.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It was looking back, you're young, you don't know any better. And I was like, I still love music, but I was so excited to fucking do it because it's like we're actually gonna do this,
Hell
like
yeah.
Well, your parents were immigrants, right? First
for sure.
generation.
Yeah. I came up when I was 2.
Do you think that's why they were so supportive? Because they're just
I
like,
think so.
there's so many opportunities
I
here
think
for
so.
you.
This is the best opportunity.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's just like, an opportunity, and they risked something, right?
Sure,
like
yeah.
we totally came in illegally and like almost got deported.
Hell yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, it's the risks they took. My risk of moving to play music
Seems kind of small.
seems
in
kind of pale.
comparison.
Like, and I get it. I'm glad that they were supportive.
they probably saw something in that when they're like, oh, that's like,
Yeah,
that's a risk like we took.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's some sort of parallel that they probably
It
felt.
wasn't all the racket.
No.
Like, get him out of here.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
pay you to get out of here.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Were they like, are they big into music as well? Like,
No, not at all. Like, they used to chaperone like shows we'd throw in high school,
Okay,
Nice.
cool.
and but they weren't musicians. I don't know. They just saw that their kid was stoked on something. I
Mhm.
think that's what it was. They were like, saw that it made me happy, and were like, they're just so supportive, man. My parents are the fucking best.
Sure.
Totally
Yeah.
the best, man.
It's probably
Where-
anything you do, they see an opportunity in it themselves.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely know that to achieve something, you got to take a risk.
Where does the influence come from?
Musically, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to do music.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, what's it like to hear like a crazy dope album when you're living in a town of 1,000 people? And like, do you even have other people to like talk about that kind of shit with?
In high school, yes, but when I was younger, not really. I don't know. It's a thing that just like, it just hits you, right? That's like,
Mhm.
this is amazing. And also, there was a local band. I was doing a paper route, and I heard music in a garage, and it was like, I know those people.
Lung butter.
And lung butter, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, you did your work. And just being like, these idiots can do it. Like, I'm an idiot, I can do it too. And I don't know, it just hits you. I don't know, I can't really explain. It wasn't a certain band or a certain event. It was just whatever my stew is that makes me. This puzzle piece was like, boom, like this is something.
Was that your first musical memory?
That was one that sticks out for sure. Hearing some shitty band play.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It just inspired you right away. That's
Yeah, it's just like
pretty
that's
awesome.
possible. I think that's what it was. It's like,
Yeah. I
That's
feel like
not an
inspiration's
impossibility.
always a quick hit. It's never a slow burn.
yeah, something like that, especially like, and I wasn't like a cool kid. No one really is, but like, I don't know. It was so super
Speak
powerful.
for yourself, man.
Unless you're a child actor.
Yeah.
I was hella
The
dope.
room
I
you're
was
in.
listening to Aaron Carter.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta go, guys.
Yikes. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's and I think we're all like music fans. Like we all have our stories of why it meant something, and there's two sides of the fence. People who, or maybe three sides. I don't know. But people who will just listen to one song on the album versus someone who will listen to the whole album,
Mhm.
right? People who like love the whole art of it, and people who love music, but just kind of need it in tidbits and some. There's people
Sure.
who are like consumed by it, and like I got friends who
Yeah,
are like
I have-
encyclopedias
I have
of
a
everything.
fucking problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
your
of our-
Spotify count was
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of our
it was-
first episodes we did like do you subscribe to Spotify?
I don't.
No.
I don't know.
Okay, so at the end of every year, they do like it's called like a wrap up, and they show you like like listening habit statistics.
Uh huh.
So we thought it would be like a cool episode to like talk about our statistics, like our top played artists,
Uh huh.
how much we've listened to, and my minutes listened was like 110,000 minutes of music
Holy
for
shit.
just the
It
year.
was
and
ridiculous.
I got like 30 and you
And
got
that's like
10.
Yeah.
what did we work it out to? It's like 74 days or something. And I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit!
Wow.
Like, is that like? I think that's borderline. Like
And
a
it's
like a way-
problem.
And all of those hours were spent at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like I work in an environment
That's
where I can
fucking
listen to
crazy.
music all the time. But
How do you listen to music? Like at work, yes, but let's say you have a new album.
Mhm.
Will you like get stoned and listen to it, or like on a walk, like
yeah,
Ooh,
so
My
that's
favorite
a-
is on a drive.
yeah, drives are good.
Yeah.
a drive where you can really?
Yeah.
Isolate yourself and kind of
How
just.
about you?
I like to come here and just kind of like isolate myself in this little box and kind of just listen to it on the good speakers.
Sweat your
Mm.
nuts off.
Yeah, sweat my nuts off and just have a time.
Yeah.
Driving's also good too because I think it's like the driving's really calming
Yeah.
for me. So just kind of listening to
In
music.
your car with the exhaust leaking inside. That's
Oh, yeah,
probably
that's
why
part
it's
of
calming.
it.
Dripping
Every
everywhere.
album's amazing. The white noise.
The answer is always yes. But
Yeah, like I think there's so many. Even a phone is so distracting to like focus in on an album. For me, it's hard to do.
Well, how do you listen?
Man, like I'll kind of get stoned at night and listen to it. That's the best way for me. But that's even rare. Like I'm busy, and I have a kid, and like sometimes I just want to sleep. And
it's crazy to think of like what families used to do back in the day with like when vinyls were a thing.
Put it on,
it's like
and
it was
sit
celebrated.
around.
Like you'd put it on, you'd sit around. Like, could you imagine now? You're like, hey guys, Igor from Tyler the Creator came out. Let's
well,
listen
we would
to
do
it. Like,
that.
let's
like,
listen to it like in the living room.
I
and,
think
like, the
all
whole
of us.
family.
Oh yeah, my family would never.
No, but I mean,
do
like
that.
whatever album. Let's say, like, could you imagine it was like celebrated? Like, I'm not sure.
I kind of wish it was.
I'm not sure if it was like a social norm for like families to do that. Where like
I wonder.
a family's like,
Well, I think,
just listen to the new
I think
Elvis
flicking on the
Presley.
radio at the very least was
there's
like.
probably some families that had like hip parents that were like, their kids probably hate music because they're like, we're gonna sit down and listen to this record now. And the kids are like, fuck,
We're
I want to
listening
play
to
outside.
the Allman Brothers Band now.
Well, how are you gonna manage that with your kid? Are you gonna like toss them records and be like, you got to check this shit out, or are you gonna let them like go down their own path?
I'm super afraid of being the overbearing parent where like you're taking drum lessons or like we're listening to this. You know what I mean? So everything's kind of accessible.
Yeah.
Like so, like the record player, I moved downstairs, and I'll just say like, "You want to listen to music? Like you can pick a record."
Right.
So he's participating.
Leave it within arm's reach, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
How old's
For
your
me,
kid, by the way, sorry?
4.
Oh, okay.
For me, growing up, it was kind of like a passive like experience. Like nothing was ever forced on me, but there was always good music around. Like great music playing in the vehicles. No, that was my own choice.
He's gonna make his kids listen to Aaron Carter.
And that's how I beat Shaq.
I specifically remember like driving around in my dad's fucking shitty Astro van, and like he had like a Sabbath instrumental tape that might have been like a bootleg, just playing, and like I would always like, I must have been 5 or 6 years old, but I remember staring at this tape, and I was like obsessed with the album artwork.
Cool.
It's like some weird bush that's all like tripped out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And I don't know how this bush is making this music, but it's fucking awesome. So it was always just like, it was around, but it was never like, you have to listen to this.
Or an organic kind of way. But like it's like an open door type thing. Like it's there. That's
right.
kind of what I want to do.
And then when I did want more of it, it was like, root through every cassette and CD, VHS, whatever you want. Like just.
I got him a cassette player and a bunch of cassettes. Because like he can put on a record. And he can do the CDs and stuff, but a cassette he can be rough with. So it's like, here's Dad's cassettes. Like, whenever you want, go for it.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't. What he'll do is he'll put the cassette on, but I attached a mic to it. So he's just like screaming along, which is kind of cool. He's engaging with it. Yeah. He's like doing his own sort of thing. So I don't know. Obviously, I want him to be into music because music is a million things like therapeutic, and you can express yourself through it, and you can connect with people through it. Yeah, like it's a great portal for life.
Oh, totally.
But I don't want. I don't know. No one knows what they're doing when they're fucking parents. So we'll see. Ask me in like.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Years.
Like I'm as old as my parents were.
How old are you?
I'm turning 26 in like 2 weeks. Actually, my parents were younger. They were like 21, 22, like when they had me. So
crazy.
Like I think about that, I'm like. I'm so lucky I turned out okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
all of us
at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
I was such a piece of shit at that age.
At 21, man. I'm sure our parents were too.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, like my mom had me at like 20, 21.
I'm not sure.
What? Yeah. Wait, I thought you would know.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, the whole idea of our parents. Because I think I realized is that my parents and our parents, they're fucking people. They were just us, They were. There's this sort of, a parent is this mythical, and I talk about this on my podcast, where they're these sort of mythical things. Like they are human, obviously. That's a stupid thing to say.
You think
but
they're superheroes?
There's something else.
I still look at my parents like they're superheroes.
Yeah,
though.
Same. But I realize like I'm a parent now, and it's insane. But I'll just do my best.
Sure.
We'll see.
Do you see like aspects of yourself like showing in your kid at all?
That's a good question.
Because like looking at myself, how I am, like I look at my parents, I'm like, oh,
I'm starting to do
this
that
is where
now.
it came
That's
from.
weird.
Yeah. I see that too with him. I don't know. It's a good question, man. He's like, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like I know myself enough to be like, oh, that's me in him.
Like
Right,
even any
right.
like foods or anything like that.
He doesn't like veggies, and I don't really like veggies.
Fuck
Oh, there you go.
vegetables.
But-
Hey, fuck.
Maybe
Fuck
that's
that.
I
it.
actually
They're
like
great.
vegetables. I like.
I love avocados. He hates avocados.
Are avocados not a fruit because they have a stone in the middle?
Avocados
Wouldn't
a
that make
veggie,
them
right?
Yeah,
Oh.
I thought avocados were a fruit.
Google
Are
that.
Here we go.
Clicky clack.
Pull up the Google.
I don't know. He's calm. Like me and my wife are both pretty chill people, and he's pretty chill. He'll have his spikes, but he's 4. You know, I don't expect him to be like zen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for
The
sure.
results are in. Avocado is a fruit according
Hey,
to
Oh, wow.
You heard it here
according
first.
to our Google overlord.
Why
a
did you
fruit.
think he was a vegetable?
It's a fruit.
Yeah, it's because it's got a stone.
Hmm.
It's like a peach or what other fruits have
Plum.
stones in it? A plum.
Nectarine.
A
Nectarines
Nectarines don't
Yeah.
have.
Fuck.
nice.
Good morning.
Oh, is that? Oh, awesome. I'm geeking out on the back end of things. Oh, we're on the fucking green screen.
Yeah. Hey, internet.
There's so much potential here. Wasted.
Yeah.
no,
I'm
we'll
kidding.
think of some more stuff.
But you know, I spoke. I was talking to my friend about raising kids, and he was like, "No, you have to like push them. You have to like nudge them a little, you know, because no kid's gonna be laser focused. Very few would be laser focused on like, I love drums and I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Mhm.
So everyone's gonna give me advice. So I'm just gonna take
Yeah.
What I-
But
yeah, some
nobody really
people's-
likes being told what to do.
no.
Yeah.
I'll use my filter, but I'm open. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because some parents are like, "Don't you tell me how to raise my child." And it's like,
If you hear enough of it,
I
it
just
does
said he
get
should. I just
crazy.
said he should try
What's the craziest parenting tip somebody's tried to
the
give
most
you?
absurd one.
Oh,
Backwards.
I guess one is like baptize your kid.
Okay.
You know, which is like,
That's fucking weird.
yeah, to suggest that it's
Yeah.
like, who the fuck are you? You
Yeah,
know?
just to suggest it is it's like something like to want like to have to discuss that between like you and like your partner and be like, hey, we should do this. That's one thing, but to like for somebody to say, I think you should.
You should, yeah.
It's like
It's you know, my parents,
There's
my
a
mom's
boundary.
crazy religious, but
Okay.
she didn't say shit about it. You know,
Right.
she's just like, it's your kid. Like, she didn't even ask if we're gonna do
Are
it.
you baptized?
I went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm saved.
Yeah.
My soul
yeah.
is safe.
we all
That's
did.
good. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Yeah, we all come from.
Well, I hit confirmation. Is that what it's called?
The last step.
Yeah,
Okay.
the final
grade,
step. And my
grade
parents
eight,
were like,
grade 8 of religion.
they were like, up to this point, we made you do everything so your grandparents wouldn't hate us.
Oh, really? They told
And-
you that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's
they were
cool.
like, you can make this choice. Like, if you want to do it, go through with it. It's whatever. It's your thing. Just know that is like saying, like, this is my faith and this is what I believe in. And I'm like, hell no. I haven't believed in this shit since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, now just understand the ramifications of that. Like, there's going to be people around you who might look at you like a little different. I'm like, well, my friends won't, so like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
But like, I ended up being the only kid in my school who didn't get confirmed.
Oh, come on.
Really?
Dude, it's fun getting
Oh,
a name.
Yeah, come on. Wait,
I already have 2 middle
Oh,
names
so?
though.
Oh, okay.
Should've
Wait,
went for a third.
what's your confirmation name?
I didn't get
You didn't
confirmed.
get
Oh
one.
wait, you didn't get confirmed. What was yours?
You know, I was gonna say I don't even remember what that is. Like, what does that
Damn.
mean?
I think
You like
it was,
choose
like,
a saint.
and then
And you have to write
yeah.
a little blurb about him.
Saint Anger.
Yeah. Same anger. Yeah, get the trash can. Yeah.
You can't do that, Steve. That was way too long ago. I don't even remember,
I
man.
think mine
What
was
was
like,
yours?
I think mine was like Maximilian or something
Oh,
like that.
come
Dang,
on,
dude.
dude.
Like-
Felix.
I have a friend, and his name is
Felix?
Thomas, and he chose Thomas.
Did you? So everyone here was like brought up religious.
Yeah.
My dad comes from like a kind of like a war family, like an army family.
Okay.
You
Polish.
can say
And then my
Polish.
mom, yeah, I said Polish. Well, it's because it was just like super traditional, and they were,
Yeah.
Polish was a communist country back then, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
more things. And my mom's from Mexico, so there's that side. And then when they came here, it was like they met in Toronto, but they both were still trying to learn English. So the fact that they both had different native languages was like that. I think that was like one thing that they connected on.
Uh-huh.
So they kind of like
That's
just trying to
cool.
like streamline that into the family. Yeah.
I feel the one thing I don't want to do with my kid is I don't want him to have the Christian guilt that I have, because that's a real thing. You know?
Do you have a guilt?
Oh yeah. Do you guys not? Like a Christian guilt, I feel is like
Like
you're
when you jerk off and you're like,
Yes!
God saw that.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm going to hell. It's like I'm aware of it. I'm fucking 36, and
Really?
I'll like realize, even smoking weed, let's say,
Damn.
Like, there's nothing
Interesting.
wrong with that, you know. But there's a little quiet
tiny-
voice that's like,
Holy
"You
shit.
sinner,
You still get that.
Yo,
man.
maybe
still
that's
a
what
little
my
bit.
anxiety actually is.
Man,
When I
Your
smoke pot, I'm
religion?
like, Jesus Christ, I feel horrible.
Yeah, I think.
it's kind of fucked to do that to little kids.
Yeah, but
You
I
know?
think
Yeah, man,
there's
it's
there are
nuts.
some people like right now who are like pretty faithful, and I mean,
Yes.
it's the fact that
Go on.
the fact that they are. It's like it's kind of strange to think that, you know, when you live through that your whole life, and then you get that guilt. But there are some people who like never like grew up religious, and then they enter that later on in life because it like
Yeah.
it like speaks to them somehow, and then they approach it in this whole new way,
No
and they're
kidding.
like, oh, I understand that this like the scripture that everybody kind of abides by is very metaphorical, and there's like this whole thing because they approach it with this like developed mind,
Mm.
Right.
and
yeah,
then they
that's more
kind of like
critical.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But you look at them and you're like, why are you so happy all the time?
Well,
Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. Like, get into it as an adult.
Yeah.
Not like
well,
as a
this is
kid
what
and-
I've always said to
Yeah.
people when like my girlfriend has nothing to do with religion. She doesn't get it. She doesn't know any of the stories, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Didn't grow up around it.
Interesting.
And she'll ask me questions about it. And I'm like, to be honest, like certain things that you're taught are great lessons
For
to
sure.
take with you.
Yeah.
And other
The
shit is a bunch of
Beatitudes.
magic tricks and insanity. Now, I'm never going to tell somebody like to stray away from their faith. Like you believe what you want to
Sure.
believe and you do what you want to do.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it might be important for people to maybe take a more critical look. Patrick, you got some of the sofa on your face, dude.
Yeah, you do.
He's becoming the couch.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. We bought this
Fucking couch is all
we bought
peely.
this couch for $20 off some dude.
You bought it. You should have just taken it.
Wow. It was in his garage. So
Yeah, yeah.
we had to
I'll
get
take it
It
off
was
your
like
hands.
it was like in fine condition when we took it, and it's been here for like 2 months,
I'm
and it's
actually gonna throw
completely
something-
just
I'm gonna throw
melting
something.
away.
No, just throw it.
Kobe. It shuts
Oh,
off.
Into the bin that's completely full already.
Let's see this.
Hey.
Wow, dude, you're a professional.
gang.
Gang.
But yeah, let's get off the religion.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
How about mushrooms?
How about mushrooms?
I
Yeah.
love mushrooms.
The guy holding a mushroom and a microphone.
Oh yeah, Patrick has a video for
Oh, holding a. Okay, who's this?
I don't know.
you.
Talking to a mushroom.
Hazretlerinden önce o toplantıya davet edilmiş ve der ki
Is it a mushroom?
ne kadar
That's a big ass mushroom.
That's what I said.
Why is he talking to us?
How many of these did he eat before he did his broadcast?
Oh, he fucked up his hands. That's what he did.
What is?
What?
Like the microphone's right there.
He brings it back up.
Yes.
I'm so stoned, man.
Fucking 420, bro.
Are they in like his house or something?
I don't know.
That's a cool cabinet. I kind of like that cabinet.
That, you know what? That's very observant. That is a dope ass cabinet.
Yeah, look at that.
Why is he talking?
It's the
That's-
funniest thing that's ever happened in his life.
Big fucking mushroom.
Well,
How do you feel about that? You ever have any stupid blunders on stage?
Like talking into the back
Oh,
of a
Playing
microphone.
with two giant mushrooms?
No, no, but for sure blunders for sure.
Yeah.
I was asked. I got some friends of mine from Vancouver went to Japan and they needed a drummer and they asked me to go. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go."
Dope.
It's
Japan,
fantastic, yeah. But I was so nervous the first gig just because it's for me the scope of it was like, oh my god, this is really cool. That like almost train, and I'd never train wreck, but almost train wrecked. Like,
Right,
and
you're,
I
like
put
riding the line.
oh my god, like we're supposed to start a song like, and I played it like half speed.
oh,
And, like cold sweats, like
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Damn.
What was the venue like? Was it like a big venue?
It's
or-
about as big as this.
So no different
my
than
God,
like the
yeah.
shitty places you would play around here.
100%. That's exactly it. It was like no different.
Right.
But it was like, oh my god, we're here, and also like they're my friends and I want to do well.
Right.
But that sucked. What else? Many. I remember this wasn't a gig, but some older dudes asked me to play with them, and I wanted to do really well, and like they had a strobe light, and they're older, cool kids, and I was like, I'm gonna play
Oh,
super
sick.
hard.
When your credentials are, they have a
They
strobe
have a
light.
strobe light.
The big town of emo. But they were
Yo, come on, check it out. These guys got a fucking strobe light.
they were from the town over, which was the big city, Fort Francis. Fort Francis had street
big
lights.
city.
They had
3,000
street,
people.
yeah, 9,000 people. Street lights, McDonald's, an A&W, Pizza Hut. and they were older, and I remember playing too hard and like hitting myself in the face, but it was like the strobe light, right? and I was bleeding a little bit, so
Holy
the
shit.
dude, that's
Blood's
fucking
like
awesome.
flicking in
yeah. Well, so when they turn on the light, they're like, "Did you hit your face?" Like,
I rocked you.
I really got into it,
Whatever,
man.
nothing too crazy. I don't know. Every show's terrifying as far as like trying not to fuck up, but
Yeah, still get those pre-show jitters.
all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. Even like at that 420 fest, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just. Also, the thing
You guys
was,
fucking killed it, by the way.
thanks, man. Thanks. The flow of it. Like I'm usually playing venues like this. You know, there's a comfort to that. So
Yeah.
even a gig like that, I was like, okay, this is
I'm at a nightclub.
nervous. Yeah, I'm at a
Yeah.
nightclub.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of how it was. Yeah, 420 Fest was.
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
like
it
it
was
was
great.
run so well.
Yeah,
But-
shout out to Kyle. Fuck. And
Yeah,
who else was? doing
Chris,
it?
Stacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris.
it was
And
great.
Obviously, the folks that running
Different
the venues.
Strokes.
Yeah, different strokes. Night School, Chainsaw, Pat and Social, Harmony
Here we go.
Lunch.
Here we go.
Fans.
Fantastic.
Just had to.
Yeah, it was
Actually,
dope.
Greber will be back at Harmony next month. No, July.
Fuck
Nice.
yes.
July 6th, I think, or 5th.
Nice.
Yeah, I ran into you for a minute at the
Yeah.
420 Fest.
Yeah, we was crossing the road. I think I was there too, but
Oh, did you see the awkward encounter?
yeah, because I was
so
like,
fucking
I was like,
stoned,
who was that?
and
I
I'm
was
like
who was
trying
that?
to
Like, I've
like I
taken
know
lives.
who you are, and I'm like, there's this dude in our town that's like, or was like a prospective like NFL player,
Okay.
named Kyle Vargas.
Oh wow.
And like in my head, I'm like wanting to say Kyle Vargas, but I'm like, I know that's not his name. That's the football dude. That's the football dude. And I think I just went, take her wide. And you're like, hey, people listen to that shit.
yeah. Oh, for real.
It's funny as fuck.
That's dope.
That was
That's
cool.
dope.
Cool.
Yeah, that was. I think I caught the tail end of that. It was like at an intersection, and then I
Yeah.
just kind of came over.
You
and I was
did
like,
look
oh,
really
hey, what's
stoned,
up?
so
Oh,
and
yeah,
any
yeah.
awkwardness or whatever,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this guy's super stoned. And actually, I was thinking, I was thinking like, he's handling this way better than I would.
Well-
I wouldn't even be outside if I was stoned.
Considering this guy had to be on camera for the whole day.
Yeah.
I'm impressed
So,
you had.
like,
to,
I
you
think
actually
by the
held it
time I
down.
caught you, we had already been down there for like 3 hours or so,
Just
like
ripped.
interviewing. Everybody's like just passing around joints and stuff, and like, of course, they see you with a microphone, and they're like, "Oh, like this guy needs to get way more baked." Like, that's exactly
yeah,
what you need.
exactly.
There's a photo of me like. I think my last interview of the day was with Kyle.
Okay.
And there's a photo that's taken at a horrible angle, and there's like 18 bags underneath my eyes, and they're literally like purple.
Fucking rights, man.
That's the classic look, though.
Yeah, it was a good time.
This is the one in the nightclub with like the blue lighting and stuff. Where you're like,
Oh no, that
That
one's
one
even
is
worse.
I saw that post. I like that post.
Yeah,
That's an
that
honest post.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so like I'll just like talk about it real quick
Uh-huh.
here. So my buddy, he was carrying around a little mirrorless camera in like his jacket pocket. And he goes and he pulls it out at some point during the night, and I guess it snapped that shot of me.
Hmm.
The shot is originally like upside down. And he just like he was going through his camera the next day and found it, and he's like dying laughing. Like he's a childhood friend of mine. He's like,
Uh-huh.
dude, you look ridiculous. And he sends it to me, and I must have laughed for like 15 minutes just looking at this thing. And I'm like, I gotta share this. Like I gotta put this out. It's just so stupid.
Mm.
I have like 6 chins like going on. Like I'm just like sweating out of every pore. It look absolutely disgusting.
Picture's so fucking.
it's the
funny.
ultimate flattering photo because everybody will see that, and then when they finally meet you, they're like, "Wow, you look really great."
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
so true. Well, I had a bunch of people message me, and they're like, "Yo, that's pretty dope that you put that up there."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
That's,
cool.
no, that's
Uh-oh, who's
you know,
here?
honestly, that I try not to do social media too much. Like I'll do it for the show, but
Mm-hmm.
even when I there's so many times where I'm about to post something, it's like, why the fuck am I posting this? I know why I'm
Yeah.
posting this because I want attention.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to not.
Exactly.
It's hard to like not do that.
It's been kind of nice doing the show now because like I've stopped tending to like my social media, and I can like put my attention in the show.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, of course I want attention out of this.
Yeah.
But it's like productive. Like it's bringing eyes onto this that I want to be.
It feels less
over
gross.
here. Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's like this is not why social media was invented, but it just feels more not organic. It's less for me.
Yeah.
Any I can post podcast shit all day
Yeah,
if I
oh,
wanted
for
to
sure.
without like. Well, I'll even still be like, oh, am I posting too much? But if it's myself, it's a little more like,
There's some hesitation.
I'll still
Yeah.
post stuff,
Like,
but
is this me?
My life's not even cool. I like why do
Yeah.
I don't have to post any of that
It's weird.
shit.
I think that's what everybody thinks, and that's the people who get obsessed with that are like the people who make the bad stereotype for like social media being like, oh, it's a super curated lifestyle and everyone just cares about how, and it's like true, some people do get into that, but it's probably because of that exact like
Yeah, for sure.
that overthinking, and then it's just like, oh, but I can do it. I can make this look larger than life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I just picture like some girl like in the corner of her room, and that specific corner is like all decked out and nice, but the rest of the room's just like incredibly
Total dog
decrepit.
shit.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It's really fucked too. Like, not talking about my fucking being a dad all the time, but my kid's gonna come up in social media. And it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be terrifying.
Yeah, kids being born into like the internet age and like the handheld like
Right.
device age is so
Like we got kind
insane.
of like the last tastes of like what the world was like prior to
Yeah,
that, right? Like
no kidding.
you're a little bit older, so you're like, I'm sure maybe in your teen years, like
Grade
remember
7
that
was
transition?
the first time I got on the internet. 7th
Right,
grade, so
right.
that's like 96, 95 or whatever.
Yeah,
don't know,
I
something
think
like
like we got internet like at my house in like 98.
yeah, on the family computer.
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, and you
Yeah.
couldn't like be on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yo, my dad ran 2 fucking pipes to our house so we could use the phone and the internet.
Baller.
And neighbors
Damn.
would come to our house to just use our fucking internet. It
Wow,
was
really?
like weird. Like
Were you getting money from them?
Where'd you go up?
My dad probably took a
Hell
couple
yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
In a shitty part of Kitchener.
Oh, okay.
Just like a really poor neighborhood.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like people were like, "Yo, could I like come?"
Y'all got
research
some of that
fucking-"
internet?
Yeah,
It's like that
pretty
South
much,
Park
man.
episode. Where's the one where like Randy like there's one computer?
Yeah,
Brazilian
yeah.
fart porn?
Yeah, so they bust like the craziest nut everywhere.
Yeah. They go into the
Yeah.
room and it's like
Yeah.
and he's just
Holy
sitting there
fuck.
like
Yeah, different
Oh,
time, man.
shit.
But it's
Yeah.
cool that also like you can get open source stuff
Hell yeah.
and run a podcast, and bands can easily release music. It's definitely cool. It's definitely like not all bad. That
I think
Social media
most of
shit's
it
out.
is good. I
Yeah.
think it's just
the social
the things that are
aspect of
bad
it.
are very loud.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because society is very loud and the social aspect of it is
And the
very
most
like in the
uninteresting
forefront.
people are the loudest.
Parents are apparently oversharing everything. There's kids that go on Reddit and say that their whole lives have just been shared.
Yeah, you know what? That's a
Wow.
good point. Yeah, I wonder because they have no say in it.
Yeah, and
That's
like every
horrific.
problem, the mom's posting it on Facebook and asking people for advice.
Oh my
Whoa,
god.
that's like some Black Mirror shit.
yeah.
Like that's
well,
that's got to be fucked to deal with.
It'll be.
This
It's
is
gonna be
stressing me
fucking
out.
crazy. Yeah. Need to
I wonder
chill out, man.
And have to start asking for consent.
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
What's up?
let's get off
let's
the
keep
stress
going.
topic.
Yeah.
I got some funny lyrics. I'm gonna read them to you.
Word. Okay.
Oh,
And
or
you're
are these
going
the
to tell
are
me.
these the very hard lyrics? Like
Alright,
that are
shoot.
very go for it. Just go.
MC Vegas, killing pussy while you masturbate, coming like an avalanche.
Oh
I'm
God.
spitting this from acid glands.
This is I don't know if that was a written or a freestyle. I don't know what the creative process was for that. So I was rapping for a bit before I had a kid. I had creative outlets I needed to do, and
Under
that,
the name Lex Vegas.
Lex
if
Vegas.
anybody wants to
Nice.
check it out.
which was actually a band from Harrisonburg, Virginia. I remember they had the MySpace.
So like I was trying to like find. So Derek was the one who like turned me on. I was
Mhm.
like, you got any like?
What?
He turned me on to the Lex Vegas thing. Jesus Christ. yeah. He's like, oh yeah, and Vargas did this hip hop thing, Lex Vegas.
Yeah.
You should check it out. It's pretty cool. So I'm like trying to find him. Like this is just like a hardcore band. Like
Yeah.
what is this? And I had to like really do
Yeah.
some deeper digging to find like the Bandcamp and stuff.
Yeah, it was fun to do, and it was like it's like starting a band. It's exciting because it's like new
hmm
and trying to figure out like
Your identity.
exactly
Yeah.
like the whole rap stuff was like brag. Yeah, I'm gonna kill the pussy. Like like, I'm like the dorkiest dude. You know what I mean? So it
just
was.
writing that. Gonna kill the.
I'm
pussy.
going to kill the. What should I put?
Hey
here?
babe, can you come check this out?
Yeah. Proofread this, hon. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do, and part of me still wishes I had the time to do it. Because
I know.
it's like a podcast where you're in control, right? Like especially like if you're doing it yourself. Like I could make the beats, I could make the art. It's all just one person type thing, and also the whole experience of
Wow,
like
you did all that shit?
I did the first maybe couple records. Releases I did the beats on.
Cool. The beats are fresh. The art was dope too.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It was a creative outlet, and it was an interesting experiment to like try to be a rapper.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, I did like 4 shows.
Oh yeah,
Was there
Adam,
Cheeto
can you
dust in
bring
there?
up
Oh, which
one of
one?
the photos that I have? It's
Oh, is it a rap photo?
next one.
It's a pretty interesting photo.
You opened for somebody Cheeto dust.
Oh, Cheeto dust. Yeah, James Arsenian.
What is this?
This so do you guys ever remember a band named Endost?
Oh no.
Ever heard of Endost? They were from Montreal. They toured a lot. They went out west and they did Canada all the time. And actually, that's Sean from Sabatini. That's his brother. That's his younger brother.
Oh,
Damn.
okay, dope.
So James had a rap thing for a second too, and he did like an album, and he asked me if I wanted to come out and.
I
and play
appreciate
it.
that in this photo he went with the Humpty Dumpty cheddar sticks.
You can tell which ones
Nice
they are.
puffy
Oh yeah,
ones.
I'm a fake cheddar connoisseur.
You don't like the
Cheetos
thin
aficionado.
ones?
the crunchy ones?
Yeah.
I like the crunchy ones.
Yeah.
But I like the puffs too.
Yeah, I like the
Make-
puffs better.
Yeah. I feel like they stick on the roof of your mouth.
I
do.
like, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like
I
But I
like,
kind of like that.
yeah,
like
dude.
to, like,
I like
scrape
when they
them
get
off
all
with your-
fucked up in my teeth, and it's like you got to snack.
You
for like
gotta.
an extra
Oh
20
my!
minutes.
Save it for later. You want to be a chipmunk? Just storing it in your
This
cheeks.
rotten, soggy,
Yeah.
cheesy thing.
Guy like brushes his teeth and it's all just like orange that you're spitting.
Yeah.
This venue here, Turbo House in Montreal, is fucking amazing. You guys ever heard of Trigger Effect?
No.
This band from Montreal, and sadly their singer died. But
shit.
they in their jam hall started running shows and like had a liquor license, and then they
In their jam hall?
yeah
What
like,
the fuck?
yeah at the like it's not such a crazy thing now, but I remember when we first started doing it, it was like, oh wow, this is really cool. But they took this idea and they bought a fucking old bank and turned that into a venue, and now they moved to like their 3rd spot. And they're like, it's like a band and they all went in on it, and now they have like other partners. But Turbo House is fucking, shout out to Turbo House, man. Turbo
We
House
should
is
probably
amazing.
address what's going on.
So one of
there a jam hall?
the yeah, usually on Tuesdays nobody shows up here.
Never.
During our
You're the lucky guest.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is
it's
the
okay.
first time. Is it gonna peek out the mics? Is it gonna pick up?
It might in live, but I mean I can fix it in post. If they're like obviously loud, we might have to just like cut it short.
Adam, how does it sound in the headphones?
It's raw, man. This is real.
Yo,
Yeah,
fuck
man.
yeah.
This is real.
Yeah.
You can just wait till you hear their dope riffs.
Oh, I can't wait. That's kind of the fun of like in a jam hall when you're, kind of not secretly. You can hear other people's stuff, but it's like such a private thing they're doing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
Do you
you're
ever-
hearing them fuck up and stuff.
Do you ever hear when like you're jamming something and then another band is listening to you, and then like a week later they play something similar to like what you're
Oh.
playing, and you're just like,
No, but
Has
that
that
would be
happened
awesome.
Does that happen to you?
yeah, maybe like once or twice. Maybe it was just me overthinking it because I was just sitting in here really stoned, and I was like,
Sonic coincidence?
oh man,
Are you sure
perhaps?
you weren't doing it with their music?
yeah, maybe
first?
I was secretly doing it, and I was like, man, I'm really playing Everlong.
I
a
call one of
lot.
those hot sauces.
What's that? You're eyeballing them?
I call one of them.
You call one of
These are
them.
great, man.
Oh, you
Have you
call
guys
one of
seen
them?
season 6 of Hot Ones?
I'm
the
calling
ones-
one of them.
Yeah.
No.
They were on Hot Ones.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
was
is
pretty
crazy.
bummed because like I hear you mention it all the time, and I
Wow.
look at their hot sauce like Instagram, I'm like, this shit looks fucking awesome.
This
man.
one.
Yeah.
Like they're all great,
call
but
this one.
that
The
one.
color
this
on
one.
that one.
I
is just
wanted
like,
it.
You could
it's
eat it
gotta
from
be
the
best.
bottle.
Thanks.
I
Like,
believe
legit.
that.
Wait, I think you get the dog treats, so I think Christian gets the hot sauce.
True.
And you know what? I'll
Dope.
leave these beers for you guys too if you want.
Christian, do you want
I'll
Don't
actually take
say
one of those
no.
now.
Christian, do you want jalapeno
Help
or
yourself,
habanero?
Habanero.
Bitch, you just like the color.
Yeah.
Habanero.
Now, you know what? I can appreciate that you've done some digging. See through.
Yeah.
Lex Vegas, like
Yeah, Christian's our
He's our
Nardwuar.
little nardy.
Nardwar.
He's
Man,
our
I'd
nards.
love to get
He's our-
Nardwar.
he's- yeah, he's our
man.
little sack of nards.
So like, I said to these guys when we were first starting out, like, through my whole fucking life, I've always looked up to Nardwar and Alan Cross from the ongoing history of new music. I'm just like, it's so cool to be like an encyclopedia of knowledge, but on top of that, to like dig up new shit that somebody can talk about, and like, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
like,
it's like the effect of like beyond like like a surface area Google search.
yeah,
you know what
exactly,
I mean?
exactly.
That's what you can appreciate in like an interview nowadays. I
Right.
think.
Totally.
Well,
Well,
I guess being like a music fan too, watching so many interviews, I don't want to hear the same fucking questions
Totally,
over
man.
and over.
that'll like I won't ask certain guests to come on because it's like I don't
Just
really.
not enough.
I don't want to ask them the same shit. I don't
Right.
want to waste their time. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
hey man, what was it like writing that fantastic record that everyone loves? It's
Yeah,
not as
yeah.
if you've never been asked that before.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Let me tell
Yeah,
you
I
my
know
50th.
Yeah, I liked
Answer.
it.
Well, here, I mean, the aspect that we take here, because like obviously it does get into like talking about new records and new
Uh-huh.
music coming out.
Uh-huh.
I think we just like to get into like the technicalities of it. Like, tell us what like hardware you were working with in the studio, why it was weird, why it was easy, why it was fun. Like, I feel like there is a way you can dig just beneath.
I agree,
beneath
100%.
the surface of it.
100%, man. So even like being musicians, you at least have a foot into the back end of it to
Right.
know to ask.
Yeah,
like,
we're not like completely oblivious
Exactly.
to like
Yeah.
the inner workings of
Yeah.
all that, right?
yeah.
How do you get your like? Do you ever have like a really tough time with any guests? Because I know like a lot of them you do them like remote.
Oh yeah, like 95% of them.
So do you lose like a certain element?
100%.
Because like there's like body language and
Yep.
everything that goes into this too.
I for a long time was just doing like audio remotely, but then now I'm doing like at least video remotely. But even still, there's a delay, and there's
Right.
like body language. Like this is so organic where I can cut you off and it's not awkward, or you know
Right,
we
yeah.
can jump in.
Well, yeah, because then I can like signal like, no, it's okay, like you
Totally.
go. Where like if you're like looking at your iPhone or like however you do the video, like
Yeah.
there's that second of lag, and then you're both about to talk again.
Yeah.
and
Like
then
on
it,
the news.
overlaps.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
I wish I could do them all face to face, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do them every week, and I don't know. And also, like everyone, like I have a ton of rad friends that don't live near me. So.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
I wish I could, man, but whatever. It's a thing of like, just do it, right? Like figure out a way to do it and do it,
Yeah.
and it's been okay. It's worked out. Like
Yeah, I'm wondering what happens when we dry up the pool of musicians.
you
in
just
the
get them on again.
Tri-Cities.
We just interviewed these guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
next door.
the
Yeah.
finale.
Like,
That'll be the
Tell
finale.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last episode.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
if you've ever wondered who's been playing obnoxiously loud
The
behind us,
soundtrack to Ape
you
Audio.
finally mean them.
How did you guys come up with Ape Audio?
It's our
this
old
been
It's
asked
jam.
a
up to these
thousand
guys
times?
if they want to talk
So-
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Who cares? At this point, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Ape
It's
Audio.
yeah, so the term ape is an acronym for a place on Elm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
that's literally it.
That's cool.
And then it just
Yeah.
well, and then that's as far as the name goes, but if you're talking about the like actual idea
The origin story.
of like of the origin story of like the podcast, Patrick and I have been friends since high school. He had moved to BC for a few years, came back. We had been playing music since like we were in high school together, and then when he came back, we had kind of pursued different musical paths,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we had been pursuing different musical paths. I went more on the heavier side. He went more on like the electronic side, I guess. And with that being said,
So sorry about this.
yeah,
Oh,
when we
man,
came
whatever.
back, no, it'll be fine. When we came back, hopefully, when he came back and we started hanging out again, he started coming around here. We would have this kind of idea where we would have a sample, like some sort of sample from a song or something, and then we would come back a week later and have this 1 minute piece of music based around the sample, and we would talk about it. And then
Okay.
we did it for like a couple weeks. We talked about it quite extensively, and then Adam just was kind of like, or sorry, not Adam, Patrick was just kind of like, hey, we talk about this quite a bit. We should start a podcast. And then coincidentally, a few weeks later, maybe 1 week later, something like that.
That's the hats off. Perfect.
And
This is a goddamn.
but yeah, so
fucking
basically
hilarious.
after that, coincidentally, like a week after, we were hanging out here. Christian came over, just one of those times to chill,
Yeah.
drinking a couple beers, and it was like, hey, I have this friend who I haven't seen in a while, and we thinking about doing a podcast. And Christian was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing the exact same thing. And,
Hell yeah.
and I was like,
Well, it's kind of
Alright, and then-
serendipitous too, because like these guys, I know were like focusing heavy on their band, right? So I didn't come around as much because I didn't want to distract them from that. So like I would just I'd chill at my place all the time. It was just kind of like a weird fluke that I like stumbled in here like late one night after like we were all like partying out somewhere, and it was just like the perfect timing. Like Patrick had just come back into town. I was thinking in my head like, oh, I should talk to Ian about starting a podcast because like the studio is the perfect place most of the time.
No, dude, this
Yeah.
is like I've done so many podcasts, and so many things can go wrong. Like I went to Maxwell's to do one.
Yeah.
And just like there was sound check. Like it was 30 times worse than this.
Really?
Like I'm yelling at the guests like, hey, so blah blah, and like
Is the episode up?
yeah, I
wanna
kept
hear
it
that
up.
shit.
It
Just
was
hear you screaming at somebody like 2 feet away from you.
hey, yeah. So this whatever, man.
Well, I'm happy that you're comfortable with this.
Oh yeah,
This
we're
is
at a
actually the
jam
first
hall.
time this has ever happened. So
Cool, of
Yeah.
course.
well,
Do you have any like episodes of yours that like stand out big time in your head?
There's personal ones that I hold dear. There's one I did with my dad.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, with just telling, hey, so what was it like when you came to Canada, you know, and all the shit he went through. That one, like, I'll keep that forever. Right?
Was there some things that you like learned that you had never heard before, or did you kind of know what was?
I kind of knew, but like he would like a few like stories of like some real pieces of shit, treating him like shit, right? Because he's an illegal alien, you know, type stuff, like holding that over his head, and so that one's cool. Probably the first one, just because it's the first one, right?
I went back to listen to it.
Did you go to the first one
Yeah,
with Mark?
yeah. I was like, I bet you there's like some good info here. And then I saw that, Mark was there, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good fucking time.
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's a lot, man. I don't know.
I like that the original idea was like you guys. It was like some weird combination of like several different things. And it was like this melting pot, like festering, and nobody was really sure like what it was gonna become. And you were talking about like, yeah, every week we're gonna have a new beer on, and then you get like three episodes in, and like I don't remember what fucking beer you bought, but everyone's like, Vargas, this shit's disgusting.
Yeah. Oh it might have been
it was like a sour beer.
Yeah, the Flemish. It's a Flemish sour ale. That was like the third episode.
And everyone's just like, never do this again.
But then in that episode too, like I learned the origins of like the Hibzine. So
word.
I've been listening to your show like, let's say for like the past 9 months. So like I'm pretty like new compared to like how many fucking episodes are there, right? So I didn't really know I honestly for a long time I thought you were saying Hipzine,
which would make sense.
And I was like, yeah, totally, Hipzine. It's the hip new fucking music.
I'm glad I changed the format, because it used to be true to the Hibzine that it was like, tell me a band to play, but then I had to find the band's music, and like it's easier to like, hey, artists, how about I play your music?
Yeah, the first episode you guys literally had a zine that was made by Hibs, and he got people to submit little reviews.
They're great. I should have brought one, you know, like he did like
you got copies of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
he did.
Shit, that's cool.
He did 2 of them, but even before that he had a Hibzine that was just a tour diary, basically.
Oh, cool.
Which we would go on tour, and he would take all these photos and he would cut them out and make these like kind of cute little zines of just our times on the road. That was the original Hibzine.
For anyone who doesn't know, Mark is
Mark Burgon,
fellow member of Greber.
Yes, the tall, handsome man.
Handsome
that likes
guy.
to fuck with you all the time.
Yeah, I love Mark. Yeah, Mark is like, he's literally my, one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And to like,
you guys sound like brothers. Like,
my God, dude, so we lived in a house and we toured all the time, and you're in a band with someone, so you're sharing ideas and you're being vulnerable and you're like growing. And you're growing as a person, and like that band broke up, and like I lived with him and his mom. Like, man, like,
wow.
Mark
went through some stuff.
We kind of did, yeah. Like he was there at my wife's mom's funeral. Like he emceed my wedding. Like, he's like my band guy, but he's like, he's my fucking best dude, man. Yeah, Mark's the best.
It's fucking awesome that you can have a band with that person as well, right?
100%, man. 100%. It's crazy. Like we'll go to jam. We'll just talk about our feelings for like an hour and a half.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that kind of happens to us. Like, some Sundays we'll like meet up and like talk about how we can make things better.
But
like,
it'll just be about life.
We can talk about the band playing next door and how that was horrible. But like it will sometimes just devolve into like conversation like that, and it's totally fine.
I think it's
almost
healthy.
necessary.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So important to be able to talk real, about like your
feelings,
feelings, yeah. Like
seriously,
it's important, man.
Yeah, I've got friends where I can't really talk about any of that shit with, and it's.
You do or you don't?
I do, and
they said you don't. I'm like, I'll be your friend, man. Shit, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange friendships when you can't really talk about things.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, you
man.
grow up with some people, and like some people like it's hard to express your feelings when you're a kid because like kids are just so energetic.
Yeah.
And like there's that one kid who's like just slightly has that more like introspective thing about them. You know what I mean? And it's the fact that they're a little bit more introspective about talking about stuff, and they're like 6. But you can tell they're the kids that like talk to the adults at like the family functions and stuff that.
Janice is in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
what
cool.
do you think about having
Of Spoon Man.
Oh,
They
a
just
chunk
rip,
of it.
They just rip the riff off, and
is
they
it the
just play
same
it
though?
over and over. It's great.
Is
There
it
is
the same
a-
guys?
I don't know.
At our jam hall,
same dudes?
like Greber is a loud band.
Yeah.
And like right next door is like total dads, you know, that just could do covers,
Playing like
and we're
tragically
dad
hip
rock.
yeah,
covers.
and we are
Dad.
ruining their little
Oh,
moment of
man.
freedom every
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Like, and they're polite, but
And then you guys walk in the hallway, they're like, "Hey,
they're probably
Sounds
like,
great.
these fuckers are here. You know what I mean?
I had to cancel my kid's soccer practice
No
to pay rent
kidding.
for this.
I know this is my one time a month.
it's tough." Like, I mean, I was just listening to the Walk Show's new episode today, and he was talking with a fellow who owns like
Jam spots?
Jam spots,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like a 20-unit building, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're kind of lucky over here. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 other.
Depends on how those rooms are treated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not great. I think at one point they're talking about how you can be playing and not even hear yourself.
Well,
It's so
in
loud.
Montreal, the Sabatini Jam Hall is an enormous 4-story with like a commercial elevator, hundreds of rooms, man.
Dude, that's pimp.
Hundreds of rooms.
It's got to be, man. We're on the 4th floor, and each room, it's got to have like it's just a maze of rooms. But
Holy
it's
shit.
like this where we're jamming and it's just everyone's squished in
Yeah.
and you can hear everything.
I mean, I
Shit.
guess when you're in like a big metropolitan area, you gotta.
That place makes money.
Yeah,
how do you
oh,
how do you
for
feel
sure.
about bands that share a room together? Because I've never been able to get past that. Like we don't share a room, and like, but the band next door, there's like 4 or 5 bands in there, and it's like, how do you leave your
It's your personal space.
yeah,
and
it's just
your
so-
expensive equipment.
like this place has grown to be like my personal space. You've seen that happen, and I just couldn't imagine to see that. So I don't know. Like, did your band share space with others?
We did. Greber, we did share, but they are good friends, so it's zero problems.
okay.
And then in Montreal, they definitely like vet who comes in. So my experience with it is it's been friends, so it's never been a problem.
Right.
You trust them, right?
keep it within the
100%.
family.
Yeah, and even me and Mark, we could share our space right now, but it's kind of like, who do we trust that much?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So how does that work with Sabs? Like, how do you write and
Just
like,
send files,
Yeah?
man. Yeah, totally. Internet's great. Where it's you know, we'll organically bounce ideas together when we're together,
Mhm.
but they can send me something and I'll fuck around and send. It's just back and forth.
You're the only one out here, right?
Yeah.
The other guys are in Montreal.
Right.
A lot of
right.
emailing.
Yeah.
Is that the only musical pursuit that you have that you do use that specific writing process, like sending stuff back and forth?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Biipiigwan, we would do it that way too. 'Cause
Okay,
the
cool.
Muskie's in all over the place, but it works. It's not ideal as far as I did one episode and this guy was talking about the magic of a mistake in a jam hall type thing, you know, that literal sort of accident, like, oh, do that again.
That's
Right.
the magic. That's
yeah,
the
you don't get
quote-unquote
that
magic.
sending emails, right? But you do what you got to
Yeah.
do to make it work.
You kind of like, I feel like that magic happens like behind the scenes of each person, like the sender or the receiver.
Yeah.
It's like they come up with that magic inside. They're like, oh my God, I have this thing. And they're like stewing on it in the room. You know, like that thing when you write something and then you kind of like listen to it and like pace
Right.
around and you just
Yeah.
kind of like listen to it. I feel like
Well, that kind of
happens,
happened with,
but it's not really like communicated. And the magic really happens when there's like chemistry like
Yeah.
between the two and someone saying like, someone interrupts you to call you out and
Yeah.
say, do that again.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you'll jam by yourself in a room and you'll come up with all these, you know, if people were to watch you in a room, they're like, why don't you record yourself? And you're like, I'm just jamming.
Yeah.
I think
just
you have to be
jamming.
aware of like the little nugs
Yeah.
that you should take to your band.
And I feel like those are what those people are like so worth having for is
Right.
like to call
Yeah.
you out on like
A few-
those moments.
A few weeks ago, we had Josh Lagaya
Word.
from Auras on, and he like basically like how this new record came about was he was just fucking around with synthesizers because he like heard a sound on a TV show that he thought was really dope.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then he just like on a whim kind of took that to the rest of the band. They're like, "Yo, it's fucking great. Let's
Yeah,
make a
inspiration
whole
from
record out
anywhere.
of this shit."
Totally
Yeah.
inspiration from anywhere. Like there's like being in metal, like it's all, you know, there's so many so much things happening in like such a small amount of time that there's a lot of patterns involved, and I feel like that can translate anywhere, but I've seen some bands where people talk about how like, oh, I saw like the price of what a beer was like on a menu, and then I just converted that. It's like, I wouldn't have never thought of that, and I might not think that's the most practical thing, but it's crazy to see what some people can see and just like translate that into a creative idea that looks like something so arbitrary. Yeah,
it's it sounds maybe convoluted or whatever to say it's magic, but it is. It's like you're pulling from the ether of nothing and creating something with other people. Like even this conversation is kind of that too. Like, it's just pulling and
it's like it's already
presenting.
there.
Yeah.
So do you want to take a trip down memory lane?
I don't, but we will.
We're going.
I got a
All
couple photos here,
You already saw them.
and I believe it's all from Tugnut stuff.
So
Is that Anderson Paak?
that's the one I saw you posted, and
Yeah.
is, I want to say that's somewhere on the west coast of the States, because I remembered that was a U.S. tour where I would put practice pads on my drums.
Interesting.
Because I was so like insecure about my playing that I had to like run the set before we did the set.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I kind of
like,
figured
try to
that was
test your
going
accuracy?
on.
Yeah.
I was also trying to
Interesting.
figure out what year it was by looking at people's pants and their
Oh,
shoes.
and their belts and shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it's 06.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
06.
Pants were a little
06.
baggy.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
wearing fat white skate shoes.
I'm so glad I don't wear
arms.
baggy pants anymore. There's an old Tugnut photo of like you might have our first promo where I got mad baggy
Like Jinko jeans?
like
Damn.
36-inch bottom type like rave guy pants. Like I
I
feel
love how you know the measurements.
Oh my God.
It's like they had them like when you go to the store. You're like, can I get this in like a
Can I get the
46 or
Steve?
like waist? You're like,
No.
no, ankle.
dude, it was I was like proud to have like, yo, these are 36, like guys with rims, you know?
Damn,
These are 36s.
yo. You rocking 36s,
You
bro?
got like light up LEDs on the bottom. Or
my,
some
my
shit.
dad is such a like handsome, put together chain, cologne, like
Nice.
guy that I'm sure I bummed him out so hard when I was growing up.
Well, it's funny that you bring this up because I was at the gas station yesterday, and there's
Which
this
one?
dad. It doesn't matter which one. There's this dad that pulls up in like a really nice Benz, and then his teenage son gets out, and he's wearing like these baggy ass like plaid shorts that are all like ripped up, and he's got like this crusty belt like hanging out. He's got this nasty hat just like popped on, and I can see like his son like walking into the store to grab something, and the dad's just kind of looking at him, and he's like, fuck. It's only a couple of years like this.
Yeah.
Because like everybody's
It's for
been
real.
there. Everybody can
Yeah.
look back
Yeah.
at photos of themselves and go, Jesus.
Oh, man.
You would hope, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
it's so in this I'm like, oh, what am I gonna see? But you should grow. People should grow.
Yeah.
You should look back at your music or your old photos and be like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny and embarrassing.
As long
Good
as
way
you
to
don't grow
gauge
big enough to fill out the ankle holes in Jinko jeans.
Yeah.
I think you have a
I'm not
problem if
there
you're
yet.
doing that.
Yeah. I think it's called elephantitis.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
next?
keep
let's
it
roll
going.
to the next one. So this is you dudes rocking on fucking Guitar Hero controllers and a
Donkey
Donkey Kong
Kong.
Yeah.
bongo.
Nice.
Yeah, never played the Donkey Kong game. That was in Missouri, I think.
Missouri.
Our friend Bobby, who plays in this band called Canyons, and there's a bunch of connects with a bunch of other bands, but that was actually a really good show. Tugnut was a weird band because nobody liked, and I'm not surprised. Our music was so fucking weird, but that was a good show. It was at a roller rink, I think.
A lot of
somewhere.
people liked you guys though.
People say that, but I don't believe them. Because I listen back to the music, and it's like, how do people like this? It's so weird and fucked up. And yes, some people did, but
I feel like there's elements pulled from so much
Yeah.
other music,
it's
and you're just like, I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't land perfectly on its feet, but like when I was listening to it, I said to these guys, like, it sounds like fucking Primus meets like System of a Down.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like that's the thing with like if musicians are listening to music, they will like take it with a grain of salt, and they can take like the
Yeah.
small elements and be like, I see the potential in this, and this kind of validates me wanting to listen to the full thing. And I feel like, because like I'll see bands where like I'll see them live and there are like little bits where I'm like, wow, that's great. I know that'll sound good. They'll really ride on that like in a couple albums later.
Right.
and
Well, I
it's-
mean, like we all listen. We're like fans of this hip hop group Death Grips, and they just do like some super bananas shit earlier. Well, they still do,
Yeah.
but it's like a little more acceptable now, I guess. but like early in their career, like it's just such a risk and so many random elements slammed together.
So I'm proud of the work we did, but it's just weird to hear people, because a lot of people said, yeah, I liked it, and it's like, well, nobody liked us, but maybe it's because we toured the States and everybody hated us there. I don't know. This was a one good gig that stands out.
I love the
I'm glad you got one.
guitarist's like the chin that's
In the
just
back,
like
Joe.
just shaved.
Yeah,
and he's got like the huge sideburns.
Mark Hibbs.
Yeah, I love that.
Look at those chops.
Yeah, look at that. There's like the one.
Oh,
little
look at my
piece of chin
mustache. What
exposed.
an asshole.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Just so you know, I'm glad you never played the Donkey Kong game, because as a drummer, it would have driven you mad.
Yeah?
There's like an input latency on the drums,
Oh,
so like
nice.
as the notes are coming towards
You're
you,
missing them?
yeah, you'll miss all of them if you play them.
Honestly,
on time.
I don't even understand how you did, like how people did that in Guitar Hero. It's like
easy.
when it would be like the calibrate the lag on the screen, and
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know, it was never
Oh, dude,
accurate for me,
I-
and then just
funny-
people like nailing through the fire and the flames.
Stupid ass Guitar Hero story. I had this friend with a bunk ass TV, and you couldn't calibrate it. Where
Oh,
shit.
what a loser.
And he literally just this
What
dude
a poor
learned to
kid.
play like 8 seconds behind what was
Oh, he
coming on the
figured out
screen.
how to-
And I'm like, it's not even worth it. What are you doing? Like you're out
Like a
of your
savant?
mind.
I paid
Yeah,
$100
pretty
for
much.
this game,
Like
dude.
just apply this to something else.
Yeah. He's like, no, this is my life. And it's like the South Park episode.
All right,
Alright,
so
well,
you want to
I'm
roll to the
looking
next one?
This one's grainy as fuck, so... Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez.
That's,
I don't know what
That's a light party.
That's with Biipiigwan. That was in, I think, Raleigh, North Carolina, I
Holy
think.
shit.
And that was with Sophie Major, who are from France. That was stressful
Interesting.
because they came over and needed someone to tour with, and it was supposed to be with the Sabs. We couldn't do it, so B-Pigs did it, but then I had to book it, and I was stressed because they're from France, and like I wanted to do well. It ended up being okay. That night was crazy, man. That night
Was
was
it
like
have to
it?
drink that much booze to get the confidence up?
no, some house show, and I don't know why there's a big pile of booze there, but
I feel like some guy just like accumulated it from the yard and is like, no, I gotta clean it up. And then some guy's like, wait, this is sick. Let me take a picture.
I gotta
Dude.
lay on it.
Dude, I looked at this fucking picture. All this shit is from Tugnut's like MySpace
is this
page.
a
like,
Tugnut? Because this to me feels like a B-Pigs. I'm pretty sure that's
fuck.
a B-Pigs. It could be Tugnut, but
I don't know.
We'll have to
I
follow
figured
up on
you
this
would know
later.
better. I was
Yeah, I
kind
guess
of
I
like
would probably
I was
know.
like grabbing shit from like random sites where I'm like, this could just like go down tomorrow and like
Yeah.
I'll never be able to get it again.
yeah, that.
But like I looked at this photo and I immediately just thought of your fucking podcast intro. Just dickered, bud.
Just dickered. Yeah. Yeah, that night was crazy. There was the one thing I remember too was some fucking guy, some little shitty stereo like of Zeller's like shitty, complete dog shit stereo, blasting black metal, loud all night, distorted black metal
Nice.
at like 3 a.m.
Hell yeah.
after the show.
Hell yeah.
Fuck me.
Not a big fan of that guy, huh?
All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep going.
Hey,
What do
can
we
I
got?
grab one of those rhubarb
Yeah,
saisons?
dude, help yourself here.
Rhubarb saison? Oh man, I didn't know that was in the pot. Gosh, you should take one.
Sure.
Mine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what's this photo? This photo here is of it's a guitar player having a Spider-Man jumpsuit, something of the Italian Spider-Man variety. And
Yeah, this is in North Bay. So we used to play with this band called Genitile, who were hilarious. They had a really funny.
Genitile?
Yeah, they had a song about Doogie Howser, and they were like, if you've ever been to North Bay, it's kind of a weird city. Like it's in the middle of nowhere and secluded. And these were like the local weirdo guys that have us up a lot. And this was one of our big heavy songs, and he just showed up. Actually, this guy Travis, he just did the newest Greber video, the Lego
cool.
video. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
no,
no,
I haven't had a chance to check
yeah,
it out.
he did it. So
Cool.
That
it's a
was
Lego
that was
video you said?
yeah. He animated like us as Lego guys, like
So it's like
playing
stop
the
motion?
song. Not even. It's like 3D rendered.
Interesting.
Hey, speaking of playing,
Okay.
wait. You want to go?
Nope.
Do it. Patrick,
No, I
go.
don't.
No,
No,
you go.
I didn't have anything to say.
Ah, fuck. Speaking of playing like just in the middle of fucking nowhere, we got a message on that Instagram post I put up today from this band called the Faps that we had.
Oh,
on.
word. Yeah.
And they're like, "Yo, fucking Tugnut reunion." So fuck you, dude. People like Tugnut.
Some
Those
people
guys
did.
are
And
hilarious.
I listened to them on D-Walk's show, on Derek's show,
yeah.
and yeah, it was warmed my heart to hear that they saw us and liked us. And,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Shout
Those
out
are
to
so
those
fucking
guys.
funny.
Yeah, them
those dudes are-
impersonating Derek on the
Oh
show.
my
yeah,
god,
those are the
yes.
best.
That was, oh man, I would love to be impersonated by somebody. Can somebody do
Right
it right
in
now?
front of you?
Yeah, right now, do it. Anybody got it?
I'm terrible.
Should have did that one into
Yeah,
the
I wish that was
microphone.
on the microphone. Adam just went, oh, here, wait, Adam's just going to go. Adam,
Yeah, you need
Wait,
a beer, bro?
Ian, were you just gonna impersonate yourself?
Okay,
go, Adam.
impersonate
Here's
my
Adam's.
impersonation.
Here's Adam's thing of
Okay,
me.
here's Ian. Oh wow, I'm Ian. I'm dumb. Impersonate me. I'm in the middle of the couch.
Thank you.
Yo, you
love it.
fucking nailed it.
You got it.
Well, my life is over. That's my bucket list.
0 friends
Well,
on
what's
Instagram.
up next here? What's the next shot?
Yeah, what's the next one? This is kind of fun. This is cool.
Yeah.
Adam,
My
Adam
sad
really
history.
killed it.
This is just a.
Interesting.
That's in Portland. That was at this venue called The Tube.
Yeah.
That was actually a good show.
Is it because it looks like a tube?
It was a good tube. Look at Mark's hair.
Yeah. Dude, that's
Hilarious.
What's that guy holding like up against him?
I don't know.
Dude,
He's
what
smiling.
the fuck?
Yeah.
He looks Amish.
He does look Amish. He had a legit Amish bowl cut for a bit.
That's nuts.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I love Mark.
What is with the
Oh, the guy's got a Meshuggah t-shirt.
Yeah, that was a good show. There was a band from there called El Cerdo who were amazing. And they're still doing stuff. But yeah, that was I remember
You
eating
mic'd
Chipotle.
up for this?
What do you mean?
You wearing like a headset?
Dude, I used to rock the headset.
Like the Britney Spears mic?
Yeah, look it.
Yeah,
Look
I
at how
can see
embarrassing
it. I
that
was
is.
like, I was. Yeah.
The funny thing about that
Get to
is,
zoom in on the
is that
drums,
when
Adam,
I
if you
switched
can?
to a mic, it was
Easier?
embarrassing how easy, and like, why didn't I do this?
Right.
Why did I
'Cause you're not
allow?
even thinking about it. You're just kind of like rocking your head back and you're.
Why
just,
did I allow photos
Oh, that's
of a headset
so
mic?
Fucking funny.
Oh,
Whatever,
look
it-
at that!
It did work.
It's like almost in your mouth.
I know, man.
Did you ever have to like close it? and You're like, oh,
And I got good at it, but
nice.
I mean, I just think about wearing headphones like when I like work out or like when I go running or do like anything, and I'm just like, what a pain in the fucking ass.
it worked. But I don't know why I did it. When I look back, now that I don't use it, it's like, why did I come to that decision that this would be better? Because I
Bring
was
it back,
rocking out
bring it
hard.
back.
No, do you
Bring that shit back.
Do you think
Holy
bougie
fuck.
drummers now just have like AirPods where they just like have the
Maybe.
mics there and they're just like, "This is your last fucking chance. I want to see you fucking move."
Maybe.
Open that shit up.
It can work. Headset mics totally legit can work. I didn't need one. I don't know why I had one.
Nice.
It's so dumb.
It looks so
Sound
good,
guys
though.
hated me. They're like, "You're in a fucking stupid metal band.
Give me
like,
that fucking headset.
No one can hear what you're
Give me that
saying.
headset.
Why
I'm
do you
taking
have that?"
over. He's like, how are your monitors sounding?
There's mad
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
so this is like
The old
all
days,
the
man.
ancient shots I could find.
Yeah, man.
It's really a shame because like I had said, I was using the Wayback Machine to find a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And
There's more. I'm sure there's so many more.
yeah, I just have to do some more expert
What's with
level
the fucking
digging.
venue?
I wish I.
Why is
It's
it
a
shaped
tube.
like? Why is it shaped
Like,
like?
but
Yeah,
what,
it
too?
was-
What
it was-
it before?
No, good question. I don't know.
Was it,
it
like
was just a tube?
it
When
looks
I looked
like
at it, I thought it was
yeah,
like
it looks
some
like an
sort
old
of-
subway like transit
Yeah.
Maybe.
like place, and they just kind of like.
How
different infrastructure.
stupid you have
cool.
to be to open a business? Listen, check this out. Listen to this idea I got. We're gonna open a bar. It's
It-
gonna have rounded edges.
Yeah.
They were gonna call
We're
it.
gonna call it the tube.
I wonder what the sound is like in there.
I'm actually
it was
interested
okay,
because it's
actually.
not. There's no. Yeah, because it's curved, right?
Yeah.
Tugnut was a loud band too, and it surprisingly worked in that venue.
Dope.
Interesting.
Almost
gotta
gives me
stop saying
anxiety
interesting.
looking at this, man. Just as far as
Really?
well, just
Swearing that microphone.
that, yeah, mostly that. But
Yeah.
we went pretty hard, man. Fuck, we went hard.
Just
We
like in
tried
the
to.
performance.
Well, just like this weird band that played weird music and like we're gonna be crazy ambitious and tour the states and do Canada and tour hard.
Did you book your own shows?
100% all the
This
time.
man.
That's awesome.
This man.
Tugnut
did them
booking,
all.
man.
It's got to be.
Jesus Christ,
That's
man.
got to be tiring.
Yeah.
It was pretty soul crushing.
So do you?
But-
when you think about times like this, like, do you?
We're just
think,
gonna glaze
sad.
over that.
Well, I mean,
No. It's
hey,
okay.
I'm just.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
that it was that people can do something like that, get in a band with friends, get in a van with friends and do it. But it's definitely fucking hard.
It's hard, and it's.
Well, did you learn that it's not okay to kill yourself?
Yeah.
Fucking
Great. Oh,
playing like this,
Dude, we used to like not have like girlfriends. It's like the band. I remember having like if I ever get a girlfriend because I was such a dork. Like I gotta tell her that the band's important, the band's number one. Like,
Oh, I heard that shit
That
before,
type of
dude.
mentality,
I
man.
definitely heard that shit before.
and I'm so glad that I'm happily married, and like
Yeah.
there's another side. There's a balance. You can't just be a punk. You can be a punk rock guy and
And now
live
you're
with
like,
your band. That's
I'm
fine.
gonna tell the band, the ladies first.
Yeah. Just it. I don't know if that band was still going. Who fucking knows, man? Who knows how happy or miserable I might be.
Yeah, it's like weird when you see like bands that were really big when they were kind of like younger, and then they're like doing their 5th anniversary show, and they're like still pretty like young, like they're they're in their 30s, and then they're just doing the show, and then it's like you can tell they're all just so burnt out, and
Yeah,
it's like
I'd hate to get to that
I don't
point
wanna
where
see
it's
this
like,
happen.
the thing that's cool, like music, that I start to hate it and resent it.
For sure.
Fuck
yeah.
that.
yeah, I don't
So,
want to
yeah.
I don't want to get into the point where like, because like I love music, and I feel like I'm in that stage where it's
Mhm.
like it's consuming my life on a
Mhm.
24/7 basis, but the biggest fear I have in the back is like, oh, is this gonna burn me out eventually? Like, will it catch up to me? And not to the point of burning out where it's like I don't want to do it, but it's like burning out to the point it's like, do I have to take like a few days break and then like recalibrate and like reset? It's like it's all about finding that balance, and I feel like it's a work-life balance that you really have
Yeah,
to
it
like
definitely
get in tune
is.
to.
Like,
But when
you
you're
can get fucked up, burnt out, even if it is your passion project.
well,
Yeah.
especially a passion project like music, where it gets addicting to a point
Yeah, I
where
almost
like
feel like
you're
it's
just
easier to get lost in things that you
Yeah.
love and just
Mm.
overdo it.
because
right?
it's rewarding. Like when you
Yeah.
when you feel like you have something to show for it, you're like super proud of it.
Bilip, bilip, bilip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You don't want to
this
ruin.
guy was trying to. Earlier, you had said that I pronounced Biipiigwan
yeah,
correctly.
dude. No one ever
He
said
And
could've
that.
heard
I
you
looked at
guy.
it really far away, and I thought there was an L in the middle, so I thought it was Biipiigwan, and then I was like,
Oh.
Bilip.
It just
Bilip,
kept
Bilip,
coming out of his
Bilip.
mouth. He was
Yeah,
like,
I was
"Bilip,
I was
Bilip."
trying to like, I was trying to
starting
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
No one gets it right.
Yeah.
Biipiigwan. That's amazing. You did get it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't ruin your life for, don't sell yourself short of other cool things that life has to offer. Music's
sure.
rad, bands are rad, but there's more.
Yeah.
And for me, there's more. Fuck, maybe it's not for everyone.
But I definitely feel like bands who like killed themselves to like get to that point. It's like it's all like when you see like when I don't mean like. I mean like big artists
Uh-huh.
when they like really push to that point. It's kind of like that way when you see like entrepreneurial figures where they like lose sleep over like building their their empire and all that
I
stuff,
mean,
and you kind of
there's
see
totally
it in a
a
different
reason
spectrum.
why you see people who are incredibly successful also incredibly depressed
Word,
and
yeah,
fucked up. Like,
totally.
Yeah, because
Totally.
it drains you of other mental aspects. Like when you
Right.
say balance, it's like like having a partner and having a kid and having a house and having a job and all these different kinds of like balances in your life. Like it mediates not having to stress out over one thing excessively.
for
Mm.
sure.
So
Well, I think it's just investing yourself too much in one thing and having one thing define you. And if that's going wrong, then like, oh, my band had a shitty show. Now I'm completely miserable.
ruined.
Because I've invested so much of who I am in that.
Yeah,
Like-
it's a dangerous rope
like-
to walk, especially for people who have like, I suppose like an entrepreneurial like spirit. Like I feel like people like that can look at an idea and go like, I can make this happen. It's just a matter of sacrificing
Mm.
other things to get to that point as quickly as I want to.
It's almost like I just thought of like Horcruxes,
Harry
Where-
Potter?
Yeah, where you like spread yourself out, but like you can survive if one of them
Right.
gets
yeah.
destroyed. Like if my band ended, I would be sad, and
Yeah.
but I could survive. Whereas before, if like, when Tugnut broke up, it was very like
there was a lot
horrifying.
of things invested into it. There's a
oh
lot
my
of
god,
time and
everything.
energy.
I
Yeah.
moved, I lived with the guys. Like it was fucked. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So
What,
spread yourself
why did
further.
what happened to the band? Like,
Our guitar player, I don't think he wanted to do it
Yeah.
anymore. However, we were doing it. Maybe it was the touring. I don't know. I don't really know.
Just like a life thing, kind of just.
Yeah, who knows, man? I don't
Yeah.
really know. It's a good question.
It's always tough to like go on those situations when like a bandmate, you can tell like things are changing, and you can't. It's not something to call them out on, because you can tell it's like you're respecting them because it's like
They
their
have
life.
to go
Yeah,
off.
because they have to do that, and
But
you
you
can
can
tell
address
it's like
it.
you can address it, but it's like, I think that's the stigma, is like addressing it causes a potential conflict if you guys aren't aware of like how heated you both can be, because like the creative heated process is a little bit different. Like it is personal, but I feel like when it comes to like the
feel like it's the
commitment of the
most
actual
personal.
it is, but the commitment of putting yourself into the art is like, I feel like, I don't even know if it's above that, but it's a whole other level of commitment that's like, it's almost a stigma, right? Because when you join a band with people, it's like, we're ride or die, like you said, like it's this or nothing. And then when one person's slowly starting to change their gears, it's like, how do you address, like,
Change with them.
You can't, well, what if changing with them is not being in the band?
Well, then they're fucked.
Well, I mean, but that's
true.
I don't know. It's just it's hard to
It's
hard
a
to
toughie.
address it. It's hard to read it. It's hard to anticipate it, and it's also hard to like, because you don't want to be like, hey man, just wanted to know, like, do you still feel the same way? And if they're like, yeah man, I just like lost my job, so like life's been kind of rough. You're like, oh,
Suck it up.
I misread you wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's such a personal thing when you're in a band with people.
Right.
Like it's crazy.
It's
personal.
It's no different than
being
your
in an open relationship.
100%.
It's being in an open relationship with like 3 or 2 plus people.
3 dirty dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Stank
Because
ass
when one
dudes.
person, if there's like one problem with somebody, and like let's say that problem they have is with only one other person, like
leeches.
everybody's
It
involved.
leeches, yeah.
So like it's so
Y'all
hard
band dudes
to-
are so emotional.
Yeah.
yeah.
Have to be.
Fucking band
That's
guys.
Yeah, how else are
That
you
is
supposed
true.
to create good art?
I don't know.
Bunch of
Just
emo
paints
people.
art.
So the next jam hall's firing things up again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that even happened. Wow.
Yeah. What are we at? What, like 4 hours, right? 1.5.
Holy shit.
That's not bad.
How long do you guys normally do?
About 2 hours. We
yeah.
usually do a break at 1 hour, but we skip the break.
Yeah,
because
that's
this is a
pretty
good
fun.
conversation.
I do have to use the bathroom, so I'm gonna excuse myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
do it.
unbelievable, dude.
Do it, man. Do it. Yeah, it's cool that you guys had Josh on, and like, I want to get Nathan on mine at some
Dude,
point.
You will fucking love Nathan.
Just don't be surprised if he doesn't laugh at anything you say.
He's laughing on the inside, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's a
think so?
beast, man. That guy,
Monster.
Even on the toilet.
fucking just ripping shits on the toilet.
No, there's a video of him playing drums on the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's
doing
fucking
covers on
weird.
the toilet. Apparently, his parents like had went away for vacation or something, and he decided he was gonna show up at their house and just record a bunch of like random covers and stuff. But he was only gonna do it with like a snare and like a cymbal and like
Oh wow.
and a kick, of course. Yeah, I think you guys would fucking get along real well. The dude is like such a drum nerd. Like it was crazy. He could have went on for days and days, but none of us are drummers. So.
Wow, that's the thing. You know, I'm a drummer, but not on that level.
No?
Like I can't really talk shop
Right.
on his level with drums. So whatever. Well, maybe we'll see.
Well, he
There's-
made it accessible for us. Like he didn't take it to the level where we're sitting here going like, what?
Yeah.
But like there wasn't much we could like respond back with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool guy.
There's a lot of well, and I think for you guys, like I've somehow been able to get guests on. You know, there's the community is so huge. There's so many people you could talk to.
Yeah, and people are nicer than I initially expected. I generally look for the worst in humanity, and like we started doing this thing. I'm like, let's just toss out some messages, see who bites, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I haven't really had someone say no.
Yeah, I messaged. Well, we're trying to get like Il Scarlet
Cool.
on. They're playing.
They're doing
at-
that reunion, right?
Yeah, they're coming to play Maxwell's in
Hopefully
June.
Sebastian Bach.
And I sent them
Whoa,
a
that'd be
message.
sick.
I sent them a message, and I was like, "Hey, like we do this thing, and you guys are like kind of the perfect example of the people we're trying to entertain. You guys interested?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Cool.
And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I know,
I
I
didn't
was
expect
not-
this.
yeah,
It's
I
like
wasn't
asking a
expecting
pretty
it.
Well,
girl to
yeah. Then
dance.
I hit up these guys. I'm like, "We're not ready for this shit."
Yeah. Like, are we? Fuck.
But yeah, and then so you did an episode with Kyle Wappler.
Yep.
I guess he's been booking some bands out at Bingaman's for the summer. They're doing
Oh.
like little festivals, and one of them is like Slam Fest or something like that. It's like a bunch of like old school like heavy metal bands.
Oh, word. Okay.
So they got like Queen's Reich coming to play.
Oh, he's booking that?
Yeah.
Wow, good for him.
Or at least he's like in tandem.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He's got his fingers in that pie. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get Johan for you guys. Is that cool?" I'm like, I didn't even know who it was. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is what Kyle said to me today.
Uh-huh.
These guys are like, dude, it's huge.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, shit. And you hope that a big guest like that could just draw attention to what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because again, there's a million podcasts, but
Hopefully
if you
we
can
can
kind
keep
of
them
like
entertained.
Well, that's
Whatever.
the thing. That's why I gotta rely on my digging skills.
You gotta
And
dig deep because they've been interviewed out the ass.
That is true. That
or
is
just
true.
yeah, who knows? Don't even talk about music, you know? Find
True.
out like
Well,
That's
yeah,
what
that's
kind-
the thing
and have an
too.
hour-long conversation
Kind
with
of
a
what
buddy
makes
who loves golf.
podcasts interesting.
Yeah, it's cool that a lot of people are doing them, and it in a increasingly maybe not because
Do you feel-
podcasts are so busy, but like the short sort of like text, hello, goodbye. People
Yeah.
don't want to talk on the phone.
Do you
Right.
feel like
A conversation.
podcasts are becoming oversaturated?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I think about that.
I feel like there's a lot that are just same-ish.
Thanks. Dad.
yes, that's the thing.
There's a ton that I'm like, fuck yeah, like this shit is cool. But then there's just a lot where I'm like, oh, okay, you're just a comedian and you're just talking to the same people that run the circuit.
Yeah.
It's about the niches too. Like, have you heard of like the Dissect podcast?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So it's this podcast where
I'm
they
gonna run and
basically
take a
just...
pee. You guys okay?
Yeah, no worries.
You know, when you're done, I'm gonna go as well.
Cool.
We'll just go together. How about that?
Nice. So there's this podcast called Dissect, and it's on Spotify. It's been getting a lot of traction lately, and you basically can find people. They have some guests on, and they just go into a new or old release, and they really just dive deep
Oh,
into
cool.
like all like the elements of that album, and they kind of talk about like, oh, how do I think the artist approached this album? You know, based on like their previous albums, did that lead up properly to this? Was this kind of
Wow.
something maybe from a different influence?
Cool.
Do you know Anthony Fantano?
Yes, the needle drop guy.
Yeah, the needle drop guy. So he did a recent one for Tyler the Creator's. Was it for Igor?
Igor,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was for
I gotta
Igor.
listen to that. I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
dude,
really
it's
good
so
album.
fucking good.
Considering that it's there's barely any rapping
All
in
produced by him.
it. All
Interesting.
produced, yeah, written, performed
Yeah,
by
everything
him.
is done by him.
And
Cool.
what did it make? I think it did reach number one.
Yeah, it's
I think
number
it did
one
reach
right
number
now.
one, and yeah, he did even like, and the album's really good because it's
so different.
It's so different. It's basically just like a pop album, but not like a bubblegum pop album, just like that old kind of like show tunes, kind of like, I don't want to say like Elton John, but just like in that era of like when artists were
Glam
writing
rock.
like, yeah, the glam rock where like the songs were good, but they didn't sound like cheesy good.
Mm.
They were written really well, and it's kind of a breakup album,
Mm.
and the album kind of transcends into like different stages of like what you feel mentally like in a breakup. So like the first album's kind of like frantic, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Mm.
But then the album kind of gets a little bit more like it kind of finds acceptance, and then the last track, it's like, you know, the hook line's like, are we still friends, you know? And it's like, it's kind of like all churchy and like organy, so it's like,
The vocal work on that album is so fucking good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I
it's-
gotta get into that. So
yeah.
the podcast will just like dissect an album in the whole sort of
Literally
process.
dissect.
That's really
yeah,
cool.
Anything from the music to the identity of the artist. And I don't know, it's kind of weird because I've been finding a lot of like fascination in the identity of an artist.
Mm.
Because you see a band and it's like they're this collective and they create an identity in themselves. And being in a band, I kind of like see that through and through.
Uh-huh.
But I've never looked into like the spectrum or the eye of like an artist and like what it takes to find an artist, like, and something like Tyler the Creator, who's really like built this like identity for himself, is just something that's kind of like fascinating to me, because I look at that and then I look
Show 'em
at
where the bathroom is.
and then I
You know,
look
I know
at
where
it
it is.
is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and
look
then I look at like older artists, you know, like artists like, you know, even like Tom Jones or somebody, and I'm like, wow, you did have to have such an identity, even though it was more like smooth. Like, you want to even go more back? No, Frank Sinatra, one of the first like rock stars of like our
Nah.
time, despite the music, even well in the context if it was rock at the time. But like his whole identity was like this like smooth like kind of guy that like chills in the back of the club and like,
Mhm.
but everybody knows him. He's
Mhm.
like, you know, having like his drag of a cigarette, and it's like, that was like, I don't know if it was calculated, but they definitely took that and they were like, we need to exploit this in the best way possible.
Uh-huh.
And to see that like transcend through like individual artists as opposed to like a band, because like, you know, when a band has an image, it's kind of obvious, like they all wear black,
Yeah,
and they all
yeah,
do
yeah.
this. But when an artist has an image, it's like, oh, is that like your own choice? Is that like you trying to like express yourself
Yeah.
in a hyperbolic way, like through your looks?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Huh.
that's kind of the thing I've been fascinated with artists more or less, because when I see a band do it, it's like a band can have an identity because there's 2+ people
Mm-hmm.
contributing to that identity. But when you see one person, you're just kind of like, it's
You could go so deep on that.
yeah, it's more fascinating to me, I guess. And
What are
that's
you guys
just
talking about? Cool
the
dudes?
new Tyler album.
Oh,
we kinda,
really?
So we kind of started on the new Tyler
And
album.
you really need to
Steve's just
check
gonna
out
go
Flying
take a
Lotus.
piss right now. I do need to check out Flying Lotus. Oh my god, I
Yes.
know. So
It kind of sounds like the guys next door. He knows
Yeah,
where it is.
Yeah. So with the new Tyler album, I was just kind of talking about how that album kind of like inspired me to kind of look at the identity of an artist more, because in a
Oh,
band
okay.
like
how much of a role that plays?
yeah, because like looking at Tyler like convey Igor and the character of Igor, and I was like, wow, he looks so Elton John-ish, like with his like, you know, not that Elton John had like a blonde mushroom cut or anything, but like it was like the suit with like the whole
Yeah,
like
it's a
backdrop.
larger than life.
It's a larger than life person, and when I kind of saw that, I was like, man, like artists, like that is what makes someone like attracted to like the figure.
You keep on
I know I keep
smashing
smashing
that
this mic. I hate this mic. I hate this mic.
Fuck.
No, but it kind of it makes you think like an artist, like when like someone like Elton John or like Tom Jones or someone little like Elvis, like when you think of somebody like that who had that kind of like exaggerated image of themselves, was that calculated or was that them? And I'm not saying like either or is bad. I'm just like, it makes me curious as to like what approach they took. Was it like a bunch of guys saying like, hey, you're a pretty good looking guy, like you're pretty cool, like you
Let's
hang out at the
spruce
back
it
of
up.
clubs, like let's spruce it up? Or was it just some guy being like,
I don't think
you know what I
so.
want?
I don't
want to
think
put
so.
on a flashy suit. I want some cool sunglasses.
I think
I want to make myself
I think
the fucking
true
shit.
artists want to dip their toes in many different things, right?
Yeah.
So like you look at somebody like Tyler the Creator, and I think this is just an extension of his art form. What that exactly means to me, I'm not quite sure, but what that means to him is probably something pretty profound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but I don't know. I watched that album performance that Tyler did of like the Igor album, and just like hearing some of the things that he said, like in between songs, was like, you know, when he was saying like, I just want to write pop songs now, like that's all I
Right.
want to do, and like, you know, he's saying like, I just want producers to hire me. And
He's definitely
all this
drawing,
kind of things.
drawing a pop kind of crowd.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely like, because
Had
his
Vargas
albums
listened
being
to
He's
the
pulling-
record?
No, I was saying I got to get on it, man.
Yeah.
He's pulling in those numbers.
yeah,
His
it's a
shows
very
look
celebrated album.
crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to mention he is the first artist
Yeah.
ever to have a #1 record that was written and produced and everything
by himself.
done by
Yeah.
himself.
Really?
Because you
Yeah.
hear the vocals and you're like, wow, some of these parts sound like really good, but it's
He
because
literally
he's like,
just went from like
yeah,
this guy, this weird fucking artist
yeah,
that people didn't know how to feel about because of prior subject matter or whatever.
yeah.
He made a great album with Flower Boy that fucking crushed.
That was just
Yeah.
the beginning.
And then he puts this out, and like he is like superstar
Getting that Titan status.
Yes,
Yeah.
Titan status.
I'm
Like
so
And he's
curious
like what,
to know how it
21?
He's 27,
Yeah.
I think.
27.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's
I think he was,
super
I think
young.
he was born in 91.
And apparently, so I've seen through like a couple tweets and like conversations here and there, he made this record to prove to people that he has the production chops to make whatever he needs to
Yeah,
make.
he was so
he just wants to work with other artists, but nobody wanted to work with him because
Because it's Tyler.
because it's Tyler the
'cause
Creator.
He's
He's
like a jarring figure in like the pop community. People feel like he's like the wild card,
right,
You know, and
which he is. But why wouldn't you want to work with that?
That's cool, man.
because he's a tastemaker, and tastemakers hate tastemakers. Like tastemakers are intimidated by other
That's
tastemakers
true.
because like
I'm
they
not.
see something that's kind of like changing the wave, and they're like, well, I mean, if you were on top of the game,
I was
and then
changing the
someone,
wave.
yeah, if someone is like on top of like the charts, and then someone else comes in, it's like they're making this wave. You're
That's
like,
when
I
you
don't even
join 'em.
know, I don't even know why they're doing this, and some people will choose to embrace it, and some people will choose to just like deflect it and be like, no, like
Yeah,
that's not what's
true,
right.
true.
This is what's right.
Yeah, he's doing it all
Yeah,
wrong.
he's doing it all wrong. I know what I'm doing.
I think Tyler tried making the change with Cherry Bomb, but that wasn't very.
It
that
was
wasn't
very experimental.
it was
It
a-
just didn't land.
People didn't really like
his,
it.
What are his records? Like it was what
Goblin,
Goblin.
and then
So
Wolf,
just his
Wolf.
solo shit. Yeah, it's Goblin,
Wolf, Flower Boy.
Flower.
Flower
No,
Boy.
Cherry,
Cherry
Bomb,
Bomb,
Flower Boy.
Okay, I didn't even
and
hear
then-
Cherry
and they've
Bomb at
all
all.
and all the
Cherry,
Cherry
Bomb
Bomb's no-
is very.
It's I don't like it.
You'll listen to it once and you'll be like, okay, I get it,
Hmm.
but I don't want to hear this again.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm
a
sure
lot of-
20 years down the road, you're going to be like, wow, this is great.
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I wonder.
It doesn't vibe with me or a lot of people. Like
Mm.
it just
Yeah.
kind of missed the mark.
Yeah, I don't know really what he was going for.
Yeah, and like
I don't
every
know.
Tyler
But
album.
that's a risk when you experiment with music.
Yeah. But
But-
it's cool how he's carried a certain theme with like all album names are like, like Goblin,
Yeah.
Wolf, Cherry Bomb, Flower Boy,
Hmm.
Igor. They're all
What
like,
theme is this, Ian?
I don't know. It's kind of all like it's the theme of like these like horror kind of like what are they called? Pseudo antagonists kind of thing. You
Hmm.
know what I
Okay.
mean? Like that kind of thing, I guess.
Sure.
I wonder what that's like to, like that's his job, right? That's he's a musician.
Yeah.
He's not fucking working at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that lifestyle of like what does he do? He wakes up, has a coffee, and then starts creating. Like
Yeah,
what
people-
that's like.
I've-
What that hell like
Yeah, I've heard interviews with people talking about how like they would like sit in like a a creative camp with this guy, and he would just wake up and be like making beats, and then like if he'd be contributing to like somebody else's song, and like when they would
Crazy.
take a break to get food, he'd be like making like this beat really quick that would turn up later on like one of his other albums, and the guy's just like he knows that his like creativeness is embraced by the community, that like people will kind of call him over for whenever they need him,
Right.
but he also is smart enough to know that in his free time he has to like build that
Yeah.
empire that got him
But
to like
on top
this
of that
album.
too, like he's never seemed to have been caught up with like the bullshit of like the industry, right? Like he has nice clothes and like a nice car and a cool house.
They're all made
but-
by him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fascinating too.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's got that one line like made $500,000 off of socks or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
which I don't know if it's true or not.
It
but
is true. The fucking
Yeah.
donut socks,
Yeah, the
dude.
donut
crazy.
socks.
It's
That
fucking
shit
insane.
still sells in like West 49. It's
And it just
Yeah.
feels like a ripoff of The Simpsons.
Yeah, it does. Whoa, it totally does. Simpsons are gonna go after him.
Good artists borrow.
hey.
Great artists.
You guys good for beers?
steal.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. When I went to piss, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can't have another beer.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
eat.
I gotta drive
Lightweight.
home and clean my house.
Yeah.
I hope my parents aren't watching.
So I think we're coming up close to like the wrapping up mark.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to ask before we
Sure.
start closing it out, and it's about dead segments on your podcast.
Okay.
So back in the day, you did a news segment.
Oh,
with
one
of your
of them.
boys. Yeah.
Oh, how many did I do?
I don't know. I heard one, and I was like, I
Biff
never heard
Wellington.
another one, so it mustn't have ran for too long.
Yes.
And it was one of your boys from Sabatini.
Yeah, Cormier. Yeah. This was way early on. Whoa, I forgot about that. Where he just wanted to contribute to the show, so we did this. I think it was like a sports thing. I don't even
Weird.
remember what it was.
I heard one,
That is so fucking crazy.
and it was political news.
Okay.
Political news.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely early on in the podcast where you're figuring things out.
Maybe
and
there was one where you positioned two sports after that. Where
Or
you guys
maybe.
were like, the politics didn't work.
I don't know. Yeah.
Dude,
Wow.
that is fucking weird.
It's but it's you don't know what you're doing. You try things.
right.
And honestly, I probably would have done more if he just sent me more, but he just stopped sending
Yeah,
them to
okay,
me.
We
yeah.
kind of had the same thing going on.
Yeah.
what'd
What'd you guys do?
Oh shit, the costume's
Here,
gone.
I'll move it.
A costume.
Put it on for us.
Should we show him the whole video and everything?
Sure, if you want.
So we did this thing.
Get in the
we
hall
had this
and put it
character.
on.
We had this character, Biff Wellington,
Okay.
and it was a news anchor.
Okay.
And he was supposed to, like, the dude who initially came up with the concept was supposed to write like satirical, like
Uh-huh.
Canadian like news pieces
Uh-huh.
or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like Velveeta plant overflows and
Or the
molten
Beaverton
cheese.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, basically.
So Ian's giving up on the wig. He's probably giving up on the suit too.
Okay. Yeah.
You're getting the mic, dude. Getting the mic.
That's it.
70s heartthrob wig
70s
with the blue
heartthrob.
dress shirt and tie.
Feel free to pop that on if you want.
Oh, I'm good.
With the bag on the head.
But you gotta try things though. You don't know, right?
No,
like,
of course,
shit might
of
work.
course.
We're still
And-
trying.
Oh yeah, for sure. Are you still like is there things that you bounce around in your head where you're like, this is something I want to do, or this is something I'll never do again?
Yeah, I definitely want to do more. Like honestly, like your show inspired me to like, okay, video, even just incorporating that somehow.
Well, yeah, your first few episodes, weren't you recording video
I
for
was,
them?
yeah. And I just couldn't sync the audio, so I deleted it.
Oh, it's a pain in the fucking ass.
Is it?
Yeah,
Or,
it's
when we were first
freeing.
starting out, we're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Nightmare.
it still is kind of a pain because there's like
Yeah.
sometimes where like the YouTube lag
Hmm.
between switching between the program will cause like when you're switching between two different scenes that are sharing microphones, sometimes the audios will fall out of sync, so I'll have to go and post.
Into the mic.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know, but I'm also like just got to work on my strengths and realize I only have so much time, and just capitalizing on what I have, which is the core of it has to be a good conversation.
Yeah.
What I want to do is
Yeah.
capture that 2 a.m. after a gig conversation.
That's perfect because the drummer in the band that I'm in with Adam, Dave
Uh-huh.
Liker,
And me.
and Patrick.
Patrick.
I
I always forget about
we were
me.
we were just talking about how like that, you know, unloading all your shit at the jam hall and having that like conversation like right after is
Uh-huh.
like the best. Like it's one of those things that it's almost like you live for it as much as the show.
Yeah.
It's just having that well, not as much, but
No, but it is. I don't know what it is. You're super tired. You might just get on a tangent of something really deep, but those will never be recorded. That's the
Right.
thing.
It's
Those-
impossible.
Yeah,
Gotta carry
It's
around a
fucking
Zoom.
impossible. They're
Exactly.
like unicorns, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I find it helps for me when I'm doing like these like super deep dig stupid questions.
Uh-huh.
Like I find that it takes the wall down a little bit on some of the guests, but you'll never get like that super vulnerable
No, I'm
aspect.
sure.
As soon as the mics are there's like a little bit of a wall put up.
Yeah.
And then we have the cameras there,
Yeah.
and the wall gets a little bit higher. And then
Yeah.
the band next door starts playing, and the wall gets a little bit higher.
But you just aim for that, right? And if it falls short of that,
Right.
it's still in that direction. So
Of course.
So I don't know, man. It'll hopefully just become something that, you know, it's cool that I have sponsors and this and that, but
it's super cool.
if I can
Dude, your
turn
show's
it,
dope. I
Yeah.
fucking
Thank
listen
you,
to it
man.
every week,
Thank
and I'm
you.
like, this shit's fucking
Shout out to
kick-ass.
that
Thank you.
It
heartbeat.
does feel really close to like those fucking late night chats.
cool.
Like, it
If
does.
only I could do it like this, face to face, right?
Right.
But you know, even you guys, and even me, Toronto's so close, and so many bands go to
Right.
Toronto.
Yes,
So I
yes.
could, if I, had more gusto, go and
Well,
speak
yeah,
to
that's
some
the
of
thing,
these
right?
heroes
Yeah.
of mine.
How do you wedge this in with your already filled up time blocks, right?
And even like I had Mike Olander on from River Black and Run by the Sun, and he like I love those bands. So that was a victory to talk to him, but it didn't get as I don't think it was as good as it could have been, just because like I was crazy nervous and intimidated, right?
Right.
Like I can't get comfortable.
Yeah,
because he's like super
no,
rad.
for sure. We have tons of people come in, and they probably just assume that we're like totally fine and super relaxed, but like most of the time we're like kind of nervous. Like
Whoa,
we're
whoa,
meeting
whoa,
these people.
whoa.
Yeah, Christian, what are you talking
Whoa,
about?
whoa,
Nervous.
whoa,
All right,
buddy.
well,
Whatever.
fuck it. I get fucking nervous for sure. They're like,
I feel like I've known this guy for years.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, man.
It's the beers, man. It's the Wellington.
Well, yeah, this is super cash.
And I've been trying.
It
this
probably
hot sauce the
helps
whole
that
day.
you have
Whole
been
time.
doing this for 6 fucking years.
this,
just
you
too
know what?
bad
That
you
is
don't
a
get
thing where I'm pretty comfortable
Yeah.
after a little bit of time, but yeah. These things are rad, man. Everyone should start a podcast and really give it a good
No,
go.
take that
Yeah.
back.
No,
Nobody
every-
started any more
everyone
podcasts.
that
has
We're
anything
done.
valuable to
Everyone
say.
should start a podcast, but actually like put work into it.
Try.
Yeah.
Try, please.
Try. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sometimes too easy.
3 months of preparation.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
It's almost like
Did you do any like dry
Dry
runs
runs?
or anything?
No.
No?
No. The
You
first
just
one
hop
was
in.
the
Damn.
first one. Yeah.
That's
Don't
just-
ever
that's
watch our
some big
first episode
kahunas.
ever. Don't
Yeah,
ever watch our
I
first
will.
It's
episode.
funny as
You know what I'll do?
fuck.
I'll just release that as my next
Oh,
episode.
Christ.
like a crossover episode.
Yeah.
Some
Do
weird
you want
Inception
like
type
the
thing.
quick play-by-play on it? Because it was a nightmare.
I can guess that it was just
Yeah, yeah.
awkward for everybody.
No, it was
Oh,
actually
there's-
like too loose. It was
Yeah.
just too
Dude,
loose. That
I
like
was so nervous at the beginning though.
Let's do it. Let's go through
Yeah,
it.
there was
you,
like-
you
Okay,
gotta
what was the
hear about this.
play-by-play?
This is legendary.
All right.
So for about 35 minutes, this guy's Patrick's microphone was backwards.
like he had a microphone like that, like a
Yeah,
condenser.
Oh,
same microphone
shit.
like this. It's backwards. We're doing it live,
Can't hear a
but we
fucking
didn't
thing.
have a person monitoring. It was just
Oh.
us sitting at a table.
Just the three of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's people in chat like, yo, we can't hear Patrick.
Who's
There's
it-
people texting me, yo, we can't hear Patrick. Calling me, and then like
But
we're just
ignoring it
it.
because we're like trying to be.
Yeah,
on,
we're, like, right
So
in the
we're
zone,
like-
right?
Yeah.
So we take like a break at like an hour in, and we're like, oh fuck, we fucked this up. Like we can't put this out, and we're all like, oh, fuck it, it's got to go out. Like it's already it's in the ether.
Uh-huh,
It's going
uh-huh.
out live. And then we had the sweet idea to smoke a joint.
Mixed with the Bing Bong Bowl and some other
Oh,
burning stick.
Yeah. So the Bing Bong Bowl was those bowls that like
Singing bowls.
you like the singing bowls that you like put like a
Yeah,
rod around, and
yeah.
then the stick was Palo Santo. It's like a dried like kind of wood that like you burn it. It smells like
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
this guy's brother
sweet.
brings
As if
in
this room wasn't dry enough.
this meditation bowl, and he starts banging it into the mic.
My mouth's getting dry hearing this story. Right now.
Get the neg champa.
Yeah. So then I rolled this J before the show, because wasn't it like legalization day?
Yeah, no, I think
Or it was coming up,
Yeah, I
like
think
really
it's coming
soon?
up.
Whatever, we smoke pot.
Yeah.
So I roll a joint for the show. I'm like, yeah, this will be fucking awesome. We get halfway through. I think a couple people were supposed to like smoke with us, but then it just ended up being Ian and I passing this thing back and forth. And I got like
Just getting
blitzed,
too rich.
like just fucking
But that's the
wrecked.
first step, though, right? Because like I think a lot of people wouldn't even take that, and you got to take that first step to get better.
Oh,
to
we
get better.
fucking dove
Yeah.
into the
Yeah, you
deep
do-
end,
sounds like it,
and
yeah.
we snapped our necks at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, it could only
yourself a
get better
colonoscopy.
from there on out. So we get pretty baked. The furnace kicks on. It gets like hot as
God.
hell in here,
Uh-huh.
and I'm getting like nervous. Like
All
I'm
your
the
water's
kind of
done.
smoker that gets like kind of anxious and nervous
Okay.
if it's not the right strain.
Uh-huh.
And I just looked at these guys. Oh, we had a guest come in too, like 2 hours in.
Yeah, so he like came in as like we were all sitting here talking because there was a table set up like in front of us like
Uh-huh.
this kind of way, and we're all talking, and then he just comes in an hour later. So we're like, "Oh, hey, it's Jordan." Then he's like coming into
went
the frame of
off
the
the
camera,
rails.
taking off his coat, sitting down, and then as soon as he comes in, it just turns into two conversations happening at the same
Oh, no.
time.
Yeah. So
And it
then
was the
I'm baked
worst
and
thing
thinking about this.
ever.
I'm like, this is the worst thing ever.
Hmm.
And it's live. Everybody in
Oh.
the world's seeing this right now. So I look over at Ian and I'm like, I gotta go. And he's like, what?
What do you mean?
I'm
Yeah.
going to the bathroom. So I walk out and I just left for like 15 minutes. I'm like splashing water on my face. I'm like, I'm seriously like about to just fucking flip out. And I come back and I'm like, so what are we talking about?
I feel like
we don't fucking know.
I need to go and like jump like an hour into this episode
You
just
should.
to kind of like
yeah. Don't
peer
never
behind the
listen to like the
curtain.
full
Just go
thing, because it
halfway.
even went
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
3 hours and like 20
Wow.
minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
brutal. It was very brutal. There was
Fuck,
like
that's
really
so
good
stupid.
moments, but it was like 20% good moments and then just 80%.
But it's your
like-
first one, so
True.
Yeah.
Well, we had a bunch
I'm
of
surprised we
dry
came back for a
runs.
second.
Oh, it was your
We have no
fifth
excuse.
time.
I typed a warning in now where it's like, warning, this is the worst thing you'll ever hear. Just know if you click on it, you're not going to enjoy it. You might laugh a ton, but you're not going to like it.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus, just a good pitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
we
right.
should
Yeah,
do
you're really
that.
selling
We
us.
should do that.
Yeah.
The worst podcast you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But yeah, that's like just taking a fucking risk. Like, and we, like we had said, we planned this thing and we had done trial runs for like months and months, and then it just turned to the worst thing ever.
Well, man, this thing's cool though. You guys got it's
Yeah.
pro. You know, you come in
Thanks, man.
and it's fun to talk about music and like
And listen to
Yeah,
it at
and
the same time.
What's that?
And listen to it at the same time.
What?
Yeah,
What'd you
yeah. What did you say?
That's
Holy
cool.
shit.
No,
yeah.
thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah,
man.
thanks for coming.
It's,
Yeah, dude, it was a fucking
Thank you
blast.
for the
I'm
treats.
just a dude, and it's cool if you listen. And yeah, man, no one has to give a shit, and it's cool if people do. So
So you want to tell the people where they can find
Yeah,
all your stuff?
Plug
yeah,
yourself.
takerwide.com. It's TAKER wide.com is the homepage. It's the hub for everything.
It's a real slick site.
Yeah, it's a Squarespace site, so it's pretty. It looks sweet. And there's a hub to everything there. The Instagram is Takerwide Podcast. I have T-shirts you can buy. I have stickers and pins and patches and
Hot sauce.
yeah. I do it every week, and it's just like this. I'm talking to musicians about what they do and why they do it, and yeah, check out Sabs, Great Sabatini. Check out Greber. Check out Biipiigwan, and that's it. Smoke
Cool.
lots
Yo,
of
man.
good weed. or
Thanks for
something.
coming on again.
No,
it was
thank
really
you guys.
Yeah,
sweet to
thank
meet a
you.
brother in arms. today.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
We gotta join like
We're on the
some
front
sort of.
lines right now.
We all gotta get
so
tats.
We got
podcast
fucking
tats.
Derek coming on.
You guys have
later
Derek
in
on?
June.
Cool.
Yeah.
25th, I believe.
So these dudes went and did his show.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah.
When did you guys do that? Has it
I
aired?
think
No,
last,
it hasn't aired
Okay,
yet.
okay.
I think last month he's going to air it around the end of June, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah, so he's gonna come over
Hey.
here. Yeah, shout
We gotta
out to
do
Derek.
one. We
His
gotta
show's
do a
fucking
three-way.
kick-ass.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah,
set that up.
Yeah, we should definitely work that out because that would be fucking.
Get a little
dope.
group chat going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we could set something up.
Sweet. Touch
Cool.
on some cool shit.
We'll revive the 519 punk message board.
Dude,
Hey.
that website was the fucking best.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I don't know.
what
There's
did you-
definitely a big fucking revival happening around here right
Hell
now.
I
don't
love that
know
other people remember
if-
that site.
I don't know if anybody else feels it, but I feel it.
I
Like,
I feel it, man. I feel it. I moved here in 03 and I saw cool shit happening and then it all died out,
yes,
but
there
it's
was a big climb,
yeah, it's coming back.
plateaued,
Man.
and it went down a lot.
Yeah,
It
it was
did.
like
And shit is coming back with a vengeance.
Big time, man. Big time. Big time.
hopefully
Yeah,
we
that's
see
it,
that.
man.
Well,
Cool.
Shout out
this
to
band's getting
Kyle.
really loud. So
Yeah.
we're
Go
getting outta
buy
here.
this band's record.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, you guys had
Whoever the
to
fuck
hear
was
a band
third
by
plane.
proxy.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's
What
it.
do we
Cheers.
got to tell them to check out? Check out the Instagram.
Check the Instagram at APE
Ape
Audio.
Audio.
Check out the
Blah, blah,
YouTube.
blah, blah.
Sub the fucking YouTube.
Make sure to fist the bell.
Fist the bell.
And yeah, get the fuck out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Later.
Peace and love.